if you believe in omens, Newcastle have won their last 4 against Fulham in all competitions. They've kept 5 clean sheets in their last 7 against Fulham, and Fulham have lost all 4 FA Cup draws against Newcastle, last one being 1961. I know that's a long time ago, and Newcastle scored at least 4 in all of those games. Hopefully we're going to get an absolute cracker here on Talksport. You listen to the FA Cup on Talksport with Carlin, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Both teams out onto the pitch. For Newcastle, this seems like the final competition to save their season under Eddie Howe, while for Fulham, they'll have ambitions of going further than they did in the Carabao Cup, which they exited earlier on this week. Here's your commentary team for the FA Cup 4th round tie between Fulham and Newcastle, with former Newcastle midfielder Darren Ambrose alongside him, Talksport's commentator Jim Proudfoot, and it's all live on Talksport.
Adam, thank you. Good evening to you. It is the last chance for Newcastle to avoid a 55th successive season without a major trophy. The long, infamous barren run dependent on the FA Cup glory, a competition in which they've had the most miserable series in recent years. In each of Eddie Howe's seasons at the helm, they've gone out to lead one opposition. They haven't beaten a top-flight team in the FA Cup for more than a decade. Tonight, remarkably, they aim to reach round 5 for only the second time in 18 years. But if happy cup memories have been isolated at best, their Wearside waltz to success 3 weeks ago is the most notable of exceptions. A victory that breeds hope for the tune that the tide has turned. Well, tonight's opponents have had one near miss in the cups already this season. Fulham trying to lift themselves from the frustrations of their League Cup semi-final to exit to Liverpool on Wednesday, where an excellent second-half performance couldn't quite get them to extra time. And as such, 72 hours on, Marco Silva's made 7 changes as the Whites try to go again. Pereira, Robinson, Decordova-Reid and Diop, the players retain. It's Rodak in goal, Tete, Diop, Riemann, Robinson, Reid and Lukic, Wilson, Pereira and Decordova-Reid, and Rodrigo Muniz up front. The bench: Tosin, Jimenez, Kearney, Willian, Castagna, Palhinha, finishers Francois and Bender. Newcastle's one change in force. Almiron is ill. He's replaced by Jacob Murphy, who's back from a shoulder injury. No Jamal Lascelles in the matchday 20. He's got a calf problem. The fact that Eddie Howe's named the strongest possible side underlines the significance of this competition this season. It's Dubravka in goal, Trippier, Cher, Botman and Byrne, Lewis Miley, Guimaraes and Longstaff, Jacob Murphy, Isak and Gordon. And on the bench, Dummett, Richie Kraft, Paul Livramento, Alex Murphy, Parkinson, Hernes, the young midfielder signed from Shrewsbury back on deadline day, and Loris Karius is the substitute goalkeeper. Referee tonight, Jared Gillett, who officiated Newcastle's League Cup exit at Chelsea, and the twin VARs are Rob Jones and Tony Harrington. Fulham white shirts with black trim, and they will defend the Hammersmith end of the ground in this first half, kicking from right to left. Newcastle in their change kit of green shirts and white shorts. Well, Newcastle have lost their last 7 FA Cup ties against top-flight opposition. Another defeat tonight spells unwanted history. Arguably, it brings the curtain down on their season. Fulham, 72 hours after one cup exit, desperately hoping to avoid another. A day that has produced the shock of shocks in the FA Cup, one of the biggest of our lifetimes. What will happen here tonight? Newcastle pumping a long ball forward to the edge of the Fulham penalty area, where Tim Ream is able to mop up. Harrison Reed's ball out from the back, not the best. And the Geordies are able to pick it up with Longstaff, who goes to the ground. No foul. Lewis Miley trying to get involved. Longstaff in there strongly. And it will be a free kick that will be taken by Fulham just outside their penalty area. 30 seconds in, it's live on Talksport. And alongside me here at Craven Cottage, I'm delighted to say it's a very good evening to Darren Ambrose.
Good evening, Jim. It's a good start by Newcastle. Fabian Schär played a lovely ball over the top, and Isak up top didn't quite read the flight of the ball. If he'd have read that, he was in on goal, but it just hit the back of his heel and ended up being cleared by Fulham. But you can see the intent already. Get the ball over the back line of Fulham, and they've certainly done that.
Already through Bournemouth, Manchester City, Maidstone, Luton, Leicester and Brighton. Plenty of replays in 10 and 11 days' time. Will these two be able to avoid that extra shift and be able to get the job done at the first attempt tonight? A long ball fall from Diop out towards the Fulham right-hand side. Chased after, brilliantly brought down by Wilson, who will come back outside the penalty area. Referee just gets in the way of Lukic for a moment. Harrison Reed, wearing 6 for Fulham. Flamehead midfielder over on the far side with a chance to try and deliver. He's worked it back in through the midfield instead to Wilson. He goes back inside his own half. Ream will just sweep up under pressure from Jacob Murphy and get it back to his goalkeeper. And it's Marek Rodak who will clear. Rare appearance for him. Very much second choice behind Bernd Leno here. It's only his 4th game of the season for Fulham. We were in possession inside their own half. Isak again putting the pressure on. The ball is laid back for Rodak, who controls it neatly. Plays it out for the blonde-haired American Tim Ream. Fulham just able to get a touch of the ball really in the midfield, just trying to ease them away into the game with this much changed side, although it is the same front 6 that played against Rotherham here in the last round. Ball inside the area for Rodrigo Muniz, who cut across it as he got a right-footed shot in, and it sails into the thousands of Newcastle fans at the Putney end of the ground away to our left-hand side. 3 gone, 0-0.
Fantastic play there by Fulham. Harrison Reed in particular found himself in a lovely bit of space down the right-hand side. Fed a lovely ball into Muniz, and I spoke about that before the game. Rodrigo Muniz said he wants to improve. That was his words in the match day programme. He's trying every day to get on the score sheet, and he took it well, just went over the bar. Good start by both sides.
They scored at Ipswich in the League Cup, which is an impressive victory for a much changed Fulham side that night. It remains his only goal of the season so far, the Brazilian striker. Pereira trying to bring the ball forward down the left, loses out and then wins it back straight away. Couldn't find a way past Miley. And Bruno Guimaraes was in there trying to make life difficult. Anthony Robinson picking it up, finds Harrison Reed, who's lost his place to Tom Kearney in the last few months in the heart of the midfield as Palhinha's first choice partner. Wilson caught the eye in a cameo roll off the bench the other night. Now Tim Ream down for Robinson right in front of us. His ball behind Bobby Deckled over Reed is easily mopped up by Bruno Guimaraes. Cher brings it under easy control and finds Trippier, staying put on Tyneside after those links with a move to Bayern Munich. Guimaraes just stubs his toe as he tries to play the ball forward. Slid in towards Muniz on the edge of the penalty area. The Fulham player is Wilson, went down on the edge of the box, no penalty. And Newcastle break quickly with Gordon slipping in forward down the left-hand side of the penalty area for Isak. He checks on the dead ball line, tries to work himself into a shooting position, takes a deflection, poked away from Miley, and Deckled over Reed should be able to clear his lines. Oh, he's given it away. It's a right-footed effort, saved by Rodak. And somehow Fulham have got away with it. Looks so easy to be able to play the way out from the back, Fulham. They presented the ball straight to Jacob Murphy, who had time for 2 or 3 touches, but fires it straight at the Fulham keeper.
Yeah, poor effort from Jacob Murphy. Deckled over Reed, got caught out with a sidewards across field pass, cut out by Jacob Murphy. And he was in 2 minds whether to play it in the near post or reverse it to the far post. In the end, did neither, and it was a comfortable save by Rodak. That's a big chance by Newcastle, and disappointed by Jacob Murphy.
The kind of opportunity that you don't want to come your way that early in the game, I guess, when you've been out for the thick end of 3 months as he has. He would much rather that on 24 minutes than 4 minutes, I think, but what a gilt-edged chance.
I mean, on the flip side, why not have it when you've only just come back, build your confidence up immediately. Whether you've been out for 3 months, a year, a week, you've got to do better in that position. He was, 15 yards out on a little bit of an angle, just hit it straight at Rodak.
Yeah, didn't work him at all. Fulham with an opportunity to bring it forward. And Muniz has done well. Good strength from him as he works it through the midfield for Pereira. 0-0 here on Talksport. Newcastle spurning a really good early opportunity. Fulham's crossfield ball runs away from Robinson and goes out for a goal kick that'll be taken by Martin Dubravka for Newcastle away to our left-hand side. And Murphy's been struggling with a shoulder problem for a lot of this season. It's only actually his 4th start today in all competitions. And it's 8 years since his only ever FA Cup goal that came back in his Coventry City days. Should have rectified that then. Newcastle going to throw on this near touchline there, right-hand side. coming into this on the back of no kind of domestic form. 4 defeats in a row in the Premier League. They've lost their last 5 away games in the Premier League. In fact, they've only taken points from one of the last 7 league games they've played. That, though, a comprehensive win on Tyneside against Fulham. Beaten 3-0. Jimenez sent off early in that game, which changed the flow of it, but it was a very easy, routine win for Newcastle that day. They're hoping that again against the same opposition will play him back into form today. Now dallying on the edge of his own penalty area, Guy Moraes, grateful to have the time to take a second touch and get it back to his goalkeeper. And the intensity of the press from both sides is causing massive problems now.
It certainly is, the high press, and it's a game of high press and a game of sloppiness. Guimaraes has been guilty of it a couple of times. Decordova-Reid obviously caused the mistake and caused the chance for Jacob Murphy, but Guimaraes caught in possession, almost once again allowed Fulham in on goal. It's the high press that's causing all the problems from both sides.
And Newcastle trying to play through it here, which it seems ill-advised. They end up conceding a corner. It's Dubravka and Botman who were the two involved. And he played it down towards the corner flag, Martin Dubravka. The outball then hit a player and found Harrison Reed. And Fulham very quickly get a corner out of that, which is the first of the game. We're taking on the Fulham right-hand side in the 8th minute. And Diop's made his way forward. And Ream is there. It's Pereira that's going to take it. Looks as though it's going to be a right-footed away swinger. Actually just worked short, tickled in towards the right-hand edge of the box, then laid back for Reed, out towards Pereira again. Will take on Gordon. He can work it inside the penalty area, but it's easily fielded at the near post by Isak. And then it will be cleared and takes a touch off a Fulham player and goes out for a throw to be taken on the Newcastle left.
What's interesting there, Jim, I was looking at the marking. They've got Kieran Trippier marking Rodrigo Muniz, and it's a mismatch to say the least. So if they can get to grips with that, if Muniz says to them, look, I'm being marked by Kieran Trippier, there's a massive size difference, there's a chance to be had there.
Tete will play it forward. Fulham still in Newcastle's half. Now the space on the left-hand side for Robinson. Pereira will turn the other way, though. Just comes out of the centre circle and goes back towards Diop. Diop taking a touch, finds the Dutchman Kenny Tete. Comes back in to replace Castagna at right back today. Now he goes back towards Marek Rodak. And Rodak will just loft it forward into the centre circle where Pereira's beaten to it by Miley. And it goes out of play for a throw. Luis Miley, just the one senior goal so far in his career, which came against Fulham 6 weeks ago. What a season he's had. His first as a Newcastle first team regular. It plays with such a maturity. It's hard to think that he's only a 17-year-old with only 17 games behind him before tonight. Sasha Lukic in the midfield for Fulham. Back towards Diop. Diop, the goal scorer of the other night, controlling the ball, exchanging passes with Lukic again, who just drops deep in between the two Fulham centre halves, as Polina loves to do. Now forward towards Reed, and he was very quickly closed down. And the ball goes out of play for a throw to be taken over on the Fulham right-hand side. 10 gone, and both sides are speeding each other out in the early stages, really. Both sides have had a nice moment or two.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Jim. They've had a couple of good moments in the attacking thirds, but in and around the midfield, a little bit of sloppiness. No one can really get a feel. No one can really get some pressure. Someone's just got to take this game 10 minutes in, as you said, by the scruff of the neck, get some control of the game. Whoever gains control in this midfield is going to have a chance to win this match.
Murphy plays it back for Shah. Guimaraes receiving the ball. Able to turn under pressure, only just able to get it back for Muniz. So he looked for Botman, he rolled it diagonally back into his own penalty area. And the Fulham number 19, and he had size 12 boots on rather than size 10, might just have been able to bring that under control. It was a really close run thing. You oohs and ahs around us. 10 goalless minutes behind us. On the day that National League South Maidstone have won at Championship High Flyers Ipswich. And they're the first 6th-tier side through to the FA Cup 5th round since Blythe Spartans back in 1978. We'll find out together who they get tomorrow. The draw is being made. We'll bring it to you tomorrow afternoon as part of our coverage of the FA Cup. We've got 3 live games for you tomorrow. First of all, the Black Country Derby, West Brom against Wolves. That's followed by the first game of Jurgen Klopp's long farewell, Liverpool against Norwich, and then Manchester United go to Newport County. Stuart Pearce, part of the commentary team in South Wales tomorrow, where Adrian Durham will be hosting at Rodney Parade. And that game live for you and exclusive to National Radio. It's a 4:30 kickoff tomorrow. The draw as well. We've got it all covered for you tomorrow. Here's Dan Burn for Newcastle. Play forward for the blonde-haired Anthony Gordon. Coming in off the left flank, but there's an excellent challenge on him from Tete, who followed him every step of the way. Reid has taken up some really good advanced positions. Wilson trying to find him. Reid does get in there. Rifles in a first-time cross. The Bobby deckled over Reid will chase after and bring under control down by the left-hand corner flag. Skyed it short, outside the box for Robinson. Lukic now coming forward. Lukic with an angle ball, but easily claimed by Dubravka. It was way overhit. And we're 12 minutes in at 0-0 here at Craven Cottage. Here's Darren Ambrose.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison Reid, there was a strange, unique cross. It was more of a tackle, and it ended up being an almost perfect cross to Decordova Reid at the back post. I think Fulham has started a little bit better than Newcastle. That you were seeing more of the attack towards the Newcastle end. I think Anthony Robinson down the left-hand side doing his usual marauding runs, and Kieran Trippier, perhaps that's why Jacob Murphy's in front of Trippier to help him, because he gets forward really well, Anthony Robinson. But yeah, I think Fulham have started a little bit better.
Yeah, in terms of the stats, that would bear it out. And Fulham marginally ahead in terms of possession. I think that where they've had the ball, though, has been slightly better. The territorial advantage has been with them. There's an excellent ball forward here from Rodak, that is brought down by Rodrigo Muniz, who then makes his way forward. Decordova Reid can't supply him with an optimistic return ball. Guy Moraes and Harrison Reid getting involved in the midfield. It's a foul by Reid. Referee plays the advantage with Gordon in possession for Newcastle. He's played it to his left for Longstaff. He just slows things down in the midfield for a moment. Now he'll play it forward towards Isak. Isak's got Dan Burn making a run outside him. He's got goal-sided Tete, who's forced to slide in and concede the first corner that Newcastle have won tonight.
Come from a bit of sloppy play from Decordova Reid down the other end. Harrison Reid made a fantastic run forward. If he got his head up, he detracted Dan Burn inside, and Harry Wilson was open on the right-hand side, but he didn't. He tried to feed the forward Muniz, but it got cut out, ended up on the counter-attack, and great feet from Isak. He's fantastic with his feet, and now it's a corner.
There's a corner that Kieran Trippier has worked short to Gordon, then gets it back in. Oh, in towards the near post. It deceived Rodak, who scrambled down to his near post, and in the nick of time got his body behind it and bundled it away. Now from distance, it's fired just wide from Gordon. Well worth a pot shot from 25 yards out. It's been a nervy start for Marek Rodak, and he's just got away with one there, very nearly deceived at the near post.
Yeah, he was, and it started with a corner. I think it's a short corner, and it got back to Trippier, and where he's hit it, I think Fabian Schär has just let it go, and it almost caught Rodak off guard, but it ended up being quite a good save. Come out, and Anthony Gordon recycled play, good strike, just went wide of the post. But it's end-to-end stuff. It's been a good match so far.
Yeah. FA Cup ties between these two have been drenched in goals, albeit that they're all very historical these days. I think the last time they met was back in the early 1960s. There's a fixture that, as Adam was saying before the game, that's certainly been in Newcastle's behest in the recent past. They've had much the better of it. Have won the last 4 meetings. They've scored 10 in their last 3 games here, and they're unbeaten in 7 against the Cottagers. Through the opening 15 minutes, you'll be a brave man that would predict with any certainty which way this one is likely to go. Still 0-0. Fulham throw in an attacking position on their right. Muniz trying to make something happen inside the penalty area. Botman forced to stretch and get the ball half clear. Burn can poke it further away. Tete with a delivery now. 2 Newcastle players went for the same ball, and it almost hit one of them and bounced for Decordova Reid. But they were able to clear, and Tim Reid mops up at the back for Fulham.
Yeah, it was Kieran Trippier at the back, just got caught off guard again. He's done this before recently. Does he head it? Does he flick it on? In the end, it just hit him in the chest and almost landed at Decordova Reid's foot, and he would have smashed that in the goal, but they cleared it in the end. But a bit of confusion in both boxes. In the middle, a little bit sloppy. It's a sloppy start, which is making it a good viewing.
Well, it's been quite a cohesive performance in some ways from Fulham, when you bear in mind how many changes that they've made, and that whilst Newcastle are at full strength, as we were saying, such is the importance of the FA Cup for them this season, that Fulham have just named a mix and match side, but they've been every bit Newcastle's equal so far.
Yeah, you can see everyone wants to impress. Rodrigo Muniz up top is playing really well. Harrison Reed's having some lovely touches. Harry Wilson, of course, the cameo on Wednesday, he done well. He started well as well. He's on the ball now. Can he create something?
He's inside the penalty area. It's Muniz! And it's an outstanding save. Dubravka diving to his right, and he got a right hand to it, took the pace out of it, and just angled it past the post. But it was an excellent piece of play by Harry Wilson, turning inside the penalty area, and Rodrigo Muniz inches away from giving Fulham the lead.
Oh, it's good play. It's good play from Harry Wilson. I said, could he create something? He did create something, and it's a great effort from Rodrigo Muniz. But an unbelievable save. Outstretched right hand by Dubravka.
So another Fulham corner. In from Pereira. Attacked by Diop. It's in a Newcastle player last and goes out for another corner. There's a really good tantalising delivery from Pereira. Plenty of right-footed in-swing on it. I saw the goal that Manchester City scored against Spurs yesterday in a congested 6-yard box of pressure on the goalkeeper. Fulham trying to replicate that. Deckled over Reed getting in at the near post for this latest corner, and that again is turned behind. So Fulham with a third corner in quick succession, and their fourth of the opening 17 minutes of this encounter. And again it's going to be Pereira to take it. Walks back towards the little hoarding behind the black corner flag. Right-footed in-swing and delivery, the worst of the four so far. It's easily headed away by Isak, only as far as Reed. Back in from Pereira again, much better shape on that one as he looked for Ream. But Newcastle will clear and try and bring it forward now with Isak. Struggling to get the ball out from underneath his feet for a moment. Couldn't get it into his stride. Poked it back towards Guimaraes but missed him. Fulham bring it forward again, winning it up in the midfield. And Guimaraes can only poke it so far clear. Wilson forward and deckled over Reed on the stretch. Couldn't stretch far enough. Out of play for a goal kick, but Fulham have had a good last 5 minutes.
Yeah, they have. It's the pressure in the midfield. It was deckled over Reed that time. It was Pereira as well, shutting down. Every time someone gets the ball, Isak it was for Newcastle, there's 2 or 3 Fulham players. They're playing a real high intensity. Can they keep that up? It will remain to be seen with the lack of game time that they've had. But yeah, I think Fulham are controlling this game for the moment.
Home form's been pretty decent. They've won twice as many as they've lost on home soil in the Premier League this season. Newcastle's away form has been talked about at length. They had that extraordinary win at Sheffield United, but they've only picked up 2 points from the other 9 away games that they played so far this season. So only 3 Premier League sides have more home points than the Geordies, but only the Blades have fewer on the road. Newcastle bring it forward again. It's a really good run by Miley down the right-hand side of the penalty area. First time ball, headed away by Reed, down towards the corner flag, but it will go out for a throw, which will be taken on the Newcastle right, and a lot of space there for Miley.
Yeah, good play by Guimaraes, feeding him in between the fullback and the centre-half. Miley with a good run in between those. Good ball into the box. Couldn't find a Newcastle head, though.
And Jacob Murphy, who squandered that really good early chance for Newcastle, thought that he was brought down there by Robinson. The referee said, no, that was cynical. That share on Rodrigo Muniz. It will be a yellow card. A few Fulham fans wanted a red. The reason that it is only a yellow, he was probably just about the last man, but the ball was overhit and was going down towards the left-hand touchline. There were going to be covering defenders. Cher just sticks out a hand, pushes the arm of Rodrigo Muniz, who was travelling at pace. Cher's saying it was just a genuine coming together, a collision. That wasn't how Jared Gillett saw it.
No, it was a yellow card. It was a cynical foul. And not only did he use his arm, he got his thigh and it kind of tripped him over as well. Looked a sore one for Rodrigo Muniz. Great run in behind. I've been impressed with him so far, this opening 21 minutes. Really showing some strength, some pace up front, and he's had a few chances. But yeah, that was a cynical foul, Jim. Definite yellow card. Not a red. Sven Botman was behind him covering, but definite yellow.
So that's the 6th yellow card of the season for Cher. Newcastle, incidentally, have got a couple of players who are a yellow card away from an FA Cup suspension if they're booked today. That's Guimaraes and Gordon. Guimaraes, who has been booked in each of his last 6 games in all competitions. Free kick then to Fulham. It's left for Wilson to take. It's travelled a long way, and nobody could get a touch until Tim Ream down by the dead ball line recycles it. Then it's knocked in towards Diop. His header boomed clear by Dan Burn and out of play for a throw. But it was a good variety on the set piece. It wasn't the right-footed in-swinging delivery that everyone anticipated. It was a left-footed away swinger, and that change of angle meant that it was difficult for Newcastle to clear.
If you're Harry Wilson there, you've got to be moaning at your forward players or the defensive players that are attacking it. Unbelievable delivery. We're right behind that. Perfect delivery in behind the defenders. Dubravka didn't. It was too quick for Dubravka to come and collect it. No one seemed to want to attack it. Great delivery into the box, Harry Wilson.
Harrison Reed offside. It was such a good ball in that the Newcastle defenders knew they had to play it. Cher stuck out a right leg and was lucky that he didn't make contact, because he could have steered it past Dubravka and in for an own goal. Midway through the first half, you're with Talksport. Jim Pravill and Darren Ambrose, the former Ipswich and Newcastle midfielder, talking through the action here at Craven Cottage tonight. And it's 0-0. Pereira, Muniz, out to the Fulham right-hand side for Kenny Tete. Slightly misdirected ball. Down across the edge of the penalty area rather than into the heart of the box. Miley half clears it. Diop, forward for Robinson. High ball in from the Fulham left-back. That's well played by Dubravka. He's had a good start to the game, and Newcastle have needed him to have a good start at the game.
They certainly are defending for their lives at the moment. It's all Fulham. It's all in the Newcastle penalty area on the final third. And it's sloppiness. So Guimaraes this time got the ball in the middle of the park. Isak made a run in behind. He thought he was coming feet. They lost it again, and the pressure just keeps coming. And Dubravka needs to be on his toes because it's coming and coming.
And Newcastle have to do something to stem the tide here. What changes there?
Yeah, they just need to get hold of the ball, have a few passes. They're looking to do that now, and this is exactly what they need to do. Just give them something to think about. Frustrate them a little bit. You don't always have to be direct. Have 5, 6, 7 passes in the defence and then go forward when it creates an opportunity.
Now they can play it in towards Alexander Isak, but he's got his back to the direction of play. And he just drops back into the midfield for a moment before popping the ball off to his right-hand side. And it's quickly out towards Anthony Gordon. Back from him to Guimaraes. Cher inside his own half and down towards Kieran Trippier. This is much better approach play here from Newcastle. Trippier hoisting it high. Gordon making the run, but it was always likely to be Rodak who could jump the higher and claim that comfortably. And we've played 23 minutes, it's still 0-0.
It's much better, that though. It's much better. They had 6, 7 passes in their back line. Ended up Trippier getting out on the right hand side. It's poor delivery into the box. I think he sliced it looking for Anthony Gordon, but it created that space for him to get the ball, which also drew the fullback the other side in, which created an opportunity for Anthony Gordon. Just didn't get the cross right.
Here's Tim Ream venturing slowly forward towards halfway. Now playing it down towards Robinson. Back again for Ream. More than 300 Fulham games behind him, not too far short of 500 club games in his career now. It's a milestone that he's likely to get to next month. Wilson, Tete trying to play it back to him. Gordon watching every step of the way. There's a collision between the pair of them. A few muted appeals that should be a penalty, not from the player himself. But Fulham do end up with a corner as Tete just nutmegged Dan Burn, who's played forward. Gordon just leaning into Wilson. Felt the faintest of contacts and went aground. The referee has given a corner which will be taken over on the right-hand side. Pereira thought it was a free kick and just spotted the ball down near the corner flag, but he's been told that he has to retreat and put it down on the quadrant. Well, Newcastle have struggled to deal with a few of these. Miley has got arms round Tete. But the far post Ream is lurking with a little bit of intent. It's played towards De Cordova-Reid, but headed away from him. Cher's going to chase after it. Oh, it's an excellent challenge from Robinson. Cher saw him coming and knew that Robinson was going to be able to take the ball and the man and everything. Yeah, Cher braced himself and Robinson got it clear.
That's one of those that Cher would have loved to have had the opportunity on the other side of things. But yeah, Anthony Robinson knew exactly what he was doing, timed it perfectly, fully committed. And you're right, I was looking at Cher's eyes. He knew it was coming and he kind of protected himself as well. Good tackle.
It was almost like sort of a second and a half before he got there. You saw just an elongated blink and here we go.
Yeah.
But he was fine. He's got it again now. He's poked it forward. And Lukic wins it straight back for Fulham. And here's Andreas Pereira. And it's still Fulham having a slight majority of possession, but much more of their possession has been in Newcastle's territory than the other way round. Lukic near the centre circle. Long diagonal out towards the far side. Dan Burn can head that one away. And he comes off Harrison Reed and then takes another deflection off a Newcastle player and goes out of play for a throw. Luis Boa-Morte just acting as the ball boy for a moment. Throw taken quickly by Fulham. Diop's got it. He's 15 yards inside his own half and lays it back to his goalkeeper Rodak. Had a couple of nervy moments. The player has only seen League Cup action this season. Diop getting it away. Out towards Tete, the Fulham right back. Great strength from him to get the better of the retreating Longstaff. Now it's Harrison Reed who will make his way forward through the midfield, and he can find Wilson. Wilson's coming to a slightly more central area, finding a pocket of space. Pereira out past Reed. He's missed him from close range. And it's a throw that will be taken on the Newcastle left-hand side. You're listening to Fulham against Newcastle United in the FA Cup. It's live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. It's 0-0.
See, what they've done, Fulham, with their start to this game is they've quietened down the Geordie support, and you don't often say that. You don't often say that they're quiet, but they're a bit anxious. You can tell they know this is their only opportunity this season of a trophy, and they want to go far. And Fulham have started well. I thought Newcastle will have too much, but they're proving me wrong at the moment. Still 0-0 though, a long way to go in this match, but I've been impressed with Fulham.
Yeah, Newcastle have brought nearly 4,000 down from the northeast for this game. A fixture being played at such a time that it's going to be very difficult for many of them to get home, certainly by train. 28 minutes in, it's still 0-0. Fulham runners-up in this competition back in 1975, the only final that they've ever reached. I've got a lousy record in this round of the competition in recent times, eliminated at the fourth round stage in 7 of their last 9 attempts. The exceptions, one of them being at Sunderland last season in a replay en route to the quarter-finals, and against Hull back in the 16-17 season. That's still a better record than Newcastle have had in the FA Cup in recent years. So someone's going to buck the trend tonight. Guy Moraes with a long ball forward. Murphy chases after it. Robinson's there first and will cleverly use his body to shepherd the ball out of play over the line. Just kissed the corner flag on its way out. It's a goal kick which will be taken by Marek Rodak.
He's got the better of Jacob Murphy at the moment, Anthony Robinson. Apart from that early opportunity that Jacob Murphy had, we've not really seen much of him in terms of Newcastle. Not really seen much of any of the forward players, Anthony Gordon, Isak, because it's all down the other end. Like we said, Fulham are on top, not dominating massively, but in terms of where the play is being played, it's mainly in the Newcastle half. Need to do something to change that.
Cher heading it forward, bounces inside the penalty area, but it's hooked away by Ream, whose name is chanted by way of appreciation. Excellent through ball for Newcastle though. Burn for Gordon, good strong challenge on him on the edge of the penalty area. Then Wilson hooking it into space. Harrison Reed, always a midfield dynamo, but boys, he covered a lot of ground in the early stages. He's just given a free kick away on this occasion though, as he lent into, it was Dan Burn over on that far side. Botman it was, I beg your pardon. It's a free kick which will be taken by Newcastle. Reed is here, there and everywhere, but tends to gravitate out towards that right, allowing Wilson to come inside.
I mean, he's so sharp as well. Over that first 10 yards, he looks so sharp. I don't know if because he's small, he's got a low sense of gravity, but he looks so sharp when he's running across that first 10 yards.
It's been around a bit. Harrison Reed now, it's his 29th birthday today. A player that was at Southampton for many years without really making the grade, but he's found a home here. Challenges flying in with some real rumbustious tackles there. I think Gordon was the perpetrator of the worst of them. Foul on Lukic, and it's a free kick that'll be taken by Fulham. Well, half an hour in, it's 0-0. One really good chance at either end. Murphy shooting straight at Rodak inside the opening 4 or 5 minutes, and then Dubravka making an outstanding save diving away to his right to tip a Rodrigo Muniz effort round the post. Now it's Fulham playing out from the back and getting it all wrong. Murphy, little reverse after Ream's initial error. Ream can get it away. Muniz holding it up, he slipped, but still able to play down towards Pereira. And then Robinson dancing on the spot for a moment, but able to work it back towards Pereira. Giberation really strongly. Here's Isak cutting inside the penalty area. It's Isak! Got to the byline. Rodak committed himself. But I think the offside flag was up anyway. But that was much better from Newcastle, incisive around the edge of the Fulham penalty area.
Yeah, it's just decisions, Jim. Longstaff won the ball high up the field, and Isak was in on goal, but he decided to play Jacob Murphy, and then Jacob Murphy could have shot. He didn't. He tried to play Isak, and then just there, Isak could have shot as he got in front of Anthony Robinson. He didn't add an extra touch, took it off for a goal kick. It's just those decisions that Newcastle are getting wrong up top of the field.
Yeah, would have counted the flag coming up to indicate that the ball had just gone over the line and had to play for a goal kick. Isak, I think, caught him too much. He saw that Rodak was coming out. Rodak then very cleverly withdrew his hands to make sure there was no contact. Isak was waiting for any contact to make sure that if some was forthcoming, the referee knew that it had happened. In the end, the ball beat the pair of them over the line and had to play for a goal kick. Fulham now have a throw, and then midway inside the Newcastle half. Already a day of extraordinary FA Cup action. Maidstone taking the headlines, of course, after their win at Ipswich, but Luton with a 96-minute winner at Everton thanks to Corley Woodrow. They've won at Goodison for the second time this season. Leicester through after surviving a nervy first half against Birmingham. Brighton winning a 7-goal thriller at Sheffield United. Here's Bobby De Cordova-Reid getting inside the box. Muniz on the turn, and that's deflected wide. Really good defending from Botman, but Muniz has been lively. Big chance for him tonight. A player that has only started 8 games all season, but he's had some moments here.
Brilliant forward play, brilliant centre forward play in the box. Good play down the wing. De Cordova-Reid found him. He backed to goal. First thought, get a turn off, get a shot. Deflected wide by Botman. I mean, I've been impressed with Muniz this game.
So 6 corners to 1 for Fulham. Here comes the latest. Muniz was the target, and they got a 7th corner now. It's a goal kick. Well, how some of the Fulham players saw it. Diop and De Cordova-Reid making their views very clearly felt.
That's how I saw it, I think. Looked like a corner to me from here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm just abdicating all responsibility, to be honest. It wouldn't have surprised me. Yeah. Judging by the players' reactions rather than anything else from both sides, I was expecting it to be another corner. But it is a goal kick. And it's taken short. Now towards Dan Burn. And this time Newcastle briskly work it back towards Dubravka. And he'll come out of the penalty area to the right-hand side this time for Fabian Schär, the only player booked so far. Long right-footed ball forward from him was hit and hope, brought down by Diop. But Miley can now bring it away for Newcastle. He finds Burn. Burn to Botman, and very quickly back out towards Burn again, who just didn't see Harry Wilson coming in. Burn trying to play the ball has ended up playing an awful lot of Wilson. And it's going to be a free kick. And I think a lecture rather than a yellow card. Wilson still writhing in pain. Hasn't got up yet. Newcastle with another set piece to defend. It's all Fulham with 10 minutes to go to half time here on Talksport.
I think he's being very lenient if he doesn't book Dan Burn there. He did. He caught him off guard. He blindsided him. He didn't know he was coming, and he got the touch, and Dan Burn just brought him down in a dangerous position. Normally that's a yellow card, so if he doesn't, which it doesn't look like he's going to, he did get away pretty quickly though, Jim, just to make sure he doesn't. But Jarrod Gillett just seems to have let this one go.
Marco Silva's making that very point to the 4th official, Oliver Langford, over on the far touchline. It's still the pair of them in discussion. Silva clearly felt that should have been a yellow card. One Newcastle defender already on a yellow, and another lucky to have escaped one. Well, Fulham have shown a really good array of set pieces already in this game, and they've got another chance here for a free kick that is 12 yards outside the penalty area, almost level with the right-hand edge of the box, but slightly further out towards the touchline than that. Muniz is the deepest of a contingent that is 5 strong for Fulham, 6 strong now as De Cordova-Reid makes his way in as well. Good header by Burn, got enough on it, just a glancing header, but that got it half clear. And there will be put out a play for a throw, which Bobby Decordova-Reid is going to leave for Anthony Robinson on this left-hand touchline. And he'll make his way forward very deliberately down the touchline, Decordova-Reid, before handing the ball to Robinson. Make sure that the throw is taken from the right place so that they don't lose any territorial advantage. Fulham work it back to Ream, and he's gone all the way back to his goalkeeper. And Rodak will be able to pick it up and then work it out towards Diop. We've got 9 minutes to go to half-time. 3 live FA Cup ties for you tomorrow, starting with the Black Country Derby, 11:45. That kicks off. A Black Country breakfast on Talksport tomorrow. It's followed by Liverpool Norwich at 2:30 and Newport Manchester United at 4:30. And Wilson's got a problem. It was his left shoulder that got hurt in that challenge with Dan Burn. Darren, he received some treatment for it, and he's now gone down again over on the far touchline. Burn sportingly going over there to see if he's okay. But Wilson has got a problem. I don't know whether he's just angered his rotator cuffs or something in the way that he fell there.
Yeah, I've done that before, and that is a sore one. It doesn't go fully, you don't dissipate it fully. But yeah, it was a nasty challenge from Dan Burn. I don't think he was over there seeing if he's all right. I think that's just where he's playing, to be honest, just standing next to him. But he does look in a bit of pain. I was watching him since that foul took place, and he does look in pain. Even now he's hunched over holding that shoulder, and if it is the AC joint, which I've done many times, it is a sore one, and it starts to really stiffen up. We may see a sub being made here.
Willian would be the natural replacement for him coming on, a player who has won the FA Cup in the past, back in 2018. Here's Jacob Murphy back inside his own half here. Share flighting it forward, and it's knocked away before it gets to Gordon. One back by Lukic. Robinson's clearance hitting a Newcastle player, and that Ream eventually will come across the cover and puts it out of play for a corner which will be taken on the Newcastle right by Murphy. It's only their second of the game.
They cause their own problems, Fulham, especially when it's in their defensive third. They do give it away quite often, and with Longstaff and Gimrice playing a real high press, that's the only time that Newcastle have had opportunities.
And this corner's worked short for Longstaff by Murphy. Murphy gets the return ball. Trippier sends it in, a real high up and under, which is headed down at the far post. Miley near the penalty spot, and then a left-footed effort is rifled in. It's a quite brilliant strike from Sean Longstaff. And against a run of plays, Newcastle United the lead. Fulham have caused problems from set pieces. Newcastle caused mayhem from one of their own. It's beautifully struck by Longstaff, who scored here last season and scores here this to give Newcastle a 1-0 advantage.
It's a short corner routine, and it finds its way to Kieran Trippier, plays the ball down across into the box. Dan Burn heads it back. There's question marks over this. They're surrounding the referee, saying there's a hand direct in the box, and it was Gimrice, and looking at it, does hit his hand. I don't know if it's outside the silhouette. It does hit his hand certainly, and it's directly involved in the goal. But great finish by Sean Longstaff. Left foot half volley on the side, hits it into the bottom corner. Rodak stands no chance, but they're still surrounding him, Jim.
Well, it's still being looked at. The VARs are Rob Jones and Tony Harrington. Now, if it hits the arm of Longstaff, it has to be disallowed. But if it hits the arm of one of his teammates, and it is entirely accidental, then you would imagine that it may well count.
It's got to count then. It's hit Gimrice. It hasn't touched Longstaff. It's hit Gimrice. It's not deliberate, so it should count.
Well, it was a beautifully struck goal, and it has given Newcastle United the advantage. His 4th of the season. And Newcastle, who've been under the cosh for swathes of this game, have their noses in front 5 minutes before half-time. Fulham 0, Newcastle 1 on Talksport.
Has to be said against run of play, Jim. Has to be said. Fulham have been the better side, and they've gone down the other end, got a corner. It's their second corner of the match. You said that. Found its way to Trippier. You can't take nothing away from the finish from Longstaff. Brilliant left foot half volley into the bottom corner. It did hit Gimrice's hand. Accidental, can't be helped, and yeah, the goal was rightly given.
Well, it's been well documented this week. Newcastle have lost their last 7 FA Cup ties against Premier League opposition. They've lost the last 6 of those without even scoring. So that's the first goal that they have scored against the Premier League side in the FA Cup since Papis Cisse netted against Cardiff 10 years ago.
Wow.
It's given them the lead. I know, I can see your eyes lighting up there. You thought that you might have been the last player to score a goal for Newcastle against top-flight opposition.
Oh, certainly not. Did I ever?
I'm saying nothing. I mean, the ball did clearly hit the arm of Guy Moraes. It's fired into him, though, from such close range. The arm was in a natural position, and it was Longstaff that put it in. The goal stands, and it's 1-0 to the Geordies in a fixture in which they've had an excellent record in recent times. Won 4-1 here last season, with Mickey Almiron getting a couple that day. 3-0 victory for Newcastle when the two sides met 6 weeks ago, and a 1-0 lead here. Albeit, as Darren was saying, against the run of play in front of a crowd of just a shade under 19,000 here at Craven Cottage today. But the vociferous Geordie support away to our left-hand side, loving the scoreline. Here's Isak, and the ball will be played out towards the Newcastle left. And with the other results as they are, I know there are still some replays, it feels as though it's opened right up already, the FA Cup this season, and that if you're a side that hasn't had any great success in the competition for a generation or two, you could be tempted to think that, you know, this might just be your year this time.
Yeah, of course. Look, while Manchester City is still in it, they're going to be the natural favourites, of course. But like you said, you can go far, and there's real opportunities. You never know. We've seen with Maidstone and Ipswich today, you never know in the FA Cup what can happen. Maybe Maidstone, Jim.
Maybe Maidstone. Maybe not Maidstone.
Yeah.
But it is extraordinary. I was talking about it earlier. If a Premier League side wins the FA Cup, they get through 6 ties, all against sides who are guaranteed to be at their level or lower. Yeah. Maidstone have got through 7 so far, and 3 of those have been against teams that have been 2, 3 and 4 divisions higher. Newcastle trying to break quickly here, but it was a really poor ball. And an attempt to find Isak, delivered from the heart of the midfield, and Fulham will be able to survive and get it away. But that just underlines the level of Maidstone's achievement.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding. Barrow, Stevenage, and today Ipswich, as you said, and today was the toughest test of them all. Ipswich high flying in the Championship. George Elokobi navigated them through the match unbelievably. 2 shots on goal, 2 goals. That's the romance of the FA Cup right there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you face 38 attempts if the opposition score 1 fewer than you do. Here's Byrne, who's taking it down towards his own corner flag here, as if the sat-nav has gone. But he is able to turn and get the ball away. Ream will pick it up. A minute to go in this first half, but first half's going to be elongated because of the injuries to Wilson and the VAR check for the goal. Harry Wilson has got it, plays it back for Tete, high ball in from him, Muniz with a header, it's going wide, and almost inexplicably, I don't know whether Botman didn't get a shot, but it looked as though he was going to play that. It was always going to be Dubravka's ball or a goal kick, and then Botman waved the left leg at it and almost caused real problems inside his own penalty area.
Yeah, strange decision there by Botman, because there was no Fulham player anywhere near it. Tete delivered it. Muniz with an average header tried to go back towards the back post, got it all wrong. I mean, Dubravka was just going to pick it up, and almost a bit of confusion by Botman. In the end, he did see him and he pulled out.
Isak getting it forward here now. The flag has stayed down for now against Murphy, but he's through right-hand side of the area. And he's offside. Fired it into the bottom left-hand corner, but the flag was up. I think he immediately sensed that was the correct decision. As the ball was initially played forward, it looked, Darren, as though he was offside. And the replay confirms that there's about 1.5 yards in it.
I mean, the assistant referee has got to put his flag up there. We could see it from here. It's not even close. It's 1.5 yards, it's 2 yards. He knows it's offside. He's just waiting for it to go in the back of net before he puts his flag up. The Geordies only just realised it's offside because they were diving around everywhere. But I can't understand. I don't understand why they don't put their flags up when it's that obvious.
Well, the worry, of course, is that somebody might get injured. We've seen that a couple of times in 2024 already. Talking of injuries, Harry Wilson has succumbed to that shoulder problem, so Willian has come on to replace him as we go into 3 added minutes at the end of the first half. Willian, who's got a good FA Cup record, 11 goals in this competition at a rate of 1 every 3. Played in the 2017 final and lost it. Played in the 2018 final as a substitute and won it. But sent off against Manchester United in an absorbing quarter-final between United and Fulham at Old Trafford last season that we brought you live on Talksport, where Fulham had 3 red cards in 50 seconds. Here's Declan over Reed. Kenny Tete, right-hand side of the box. They're looking for an equaliser. And Willian almost in a position to side-foot it in with his first touch. Trippier just steered it away from in front of him and out for a corner. Yeah, fantastic defending by Trippier. Made a couple of mistakes of recent, Trippier, but knew Willian was right behind him to just tap that in. Didn't take no chances and just knocked it out for what seems like the 20th corner for Fulham. Yeah, it's number umpteen. Willian in towards the near post. It's headed away. And the second defensive header gets it outside the penalty area. It's Guimaraes. Robinson there first. It steers it all the way back for Marek Rodak. A reminder, tomorrow, day 4 of the first test of the 5-test series between India and England. What a recovery from England today. Masterminded by Ollie Pope's 148 not out. And England, from being in a dire position, find themselves now 126 runs ahead and still with 4 wickets in hand in their second innings. And the TalkSport cricket team with the likes of Harmy and Darren Gough and Bumble and Kevin Peterson talking through the action tomorrow. It begins at 3:30 on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 tomorrow morning. Here's Tim Reed inside his own penalty area. He's able to get it away from Cher, who looks like he's struggling to get back. He's been outpaced by Pereira. Pereira drags it way wide. Really good run. 50-55 yards. Got it onto his left foot and hit the tamest of efforts straight at the Newcastle supporters. Yeah, fantastic run going forward, but just didn't set himself properly. Couldn't quite get it onto his left foot properly. Didn't give him the angle to hit the strike, and he was kind of coming face on, straight on at it, and just dragged it wide. Well, he's due a goal. He hasn't lived in 24 games now, Andres Pereira, since he scored at Arsenal early season in a 2-2 draw. Clearance from Dubravka, who made one really top quality save at 0-0 to deny Rodrigo Muniz. Ream getting it forward, and Botman having to speed up, go through the gears. His clearance hit Declan over Reed, who's gone out to the right now that Williams come on for Wilson. Now Williams come on the left. It just didn't quite break Fulham's way, and that's been the story of the first half, really, where they've had the majority of possession, they've had the territorial advantage, they've had a couple of really nice moments in front of goal, but it's Sean Longstaff who's the only man that's got his name on the score sheet so far. A really well taken left-footed shot on the turn. Controversial goal because the ball hit the arm of Bruno Guimaraes on the way through. We think the decision's correct, and Newcastle have a 1-0 half-time lead. Adam?
Jim, top man, thank you very much, mate. Darren, they're going to be kicking themselves, Fulham, aren't they? They seem to have won the battle of that midfield. They seem to have had the possession in there. It's just in that final third they haven't showed that quality. Yeah, I mean, 7 shots on goal, only 1 on target, and that was the unbelievable save that Dubravka made off of Rodrigo Muniz. They've not really made, as you said, the attacking possession count, and Newcastle have gone down the other end, 4 shots and 3 on target, and including the goal, which was rightly given, I think. There's a little bit of controversy with the handball with Guimaraes, but against the run of play, in my opinion, Newcastle are 1-0 up. From a Fulham point of view, that goal's sloppy, isn't it, defensively?
Yeah, I mean, it was the second corner, I believe, for Newcastle, and it was a short corner routine, found its way to Trippier. Big Dan Burn at the back post, just had to nod it back. It did come off the hand, but as the laws state, as Jim was saying, that it was accidental. It wasn't outside a silhouette, and unmarked, Longstaff just half volleyed it into the corner. If you're Fulham, if you're Marco Silva, you will be disappointed to concede from a set play, particularly after you've dominated in terms of the forward possession.
I know that Newcastle have maybe found themselves quite fortunate to be 1-0 up, but from a Jacob Murphy point of view, I know that Jim pointed this out right at the start, He's been out for a period of time. He had a wonderful chance in the first 5 minutes to take the lead. He fluffed that. And then at the end, he scores a goal where he's offside, and there's no need for him to be offside in that moment. There's nobody marking him. Stay onside, son. You put your team 2-0 up.
I know the first one's almost unforgivable, really. He's won the ball back. I think as Deco Reed gave a sloppy pass away, and he's 15 yards out of goal, and he does neither puts it to the far post or the near post. In the end, just does nothing and doesn't test Rodak at all. Just comfortably, tentatively hits it at him. And like you said, the one at the end, I don't know why the assistant referee doesn't flag him. He's 2 yards at least offside, but he doesn't have to go that early. If he just holds the line, bends his run a little bit, he gets exactly the same opportunity, exactly the same chance. It's a good finish, has to be said, but yeah, he's been out for a little while, so we can excuse the first chance, okay, but the second one, you've got to hold your run.
You'd have held your run, wouldn't you, mate? You'd have held it.
I would have had to. Well, I'd have had to go early, to be honest, because I wouldn't have caught it.
Fair enough. Listen, I'll let you go and get a cup of tea, mate. You crack on.
Top man.
Don't forget, we've got a load of football coming your way over the weekend. This is not the end of the FA Cup action. 11:45 tomorrow morning, West Brom taking on Wolves in the FA Cup fourth round. Make sure you come and join us for that. At 2:30, Liverpool taking on Norwich. That's going to be, obviously, us heading to Anfield. First game since manager Jurgen Klopp announced his decision to leave at the end of the season. I'm sure it's going to be some atmosphere. Make sure you listen to Talksport for that. And then straight after it, at 4:30, is it a banana skin for Manchester United? They're taking on Newport away from home. FA Cup fourth round. Commentary, Jim Proudfoot's going to be on that one as well, alongside Stuart Pearce. Make sure you come and join us for it. And as I just mentioned there, with us going to Anfield tomorrow at 2:30, we've got a special show on Monday night, 7 o'clock. Make sure you come and join us for a Jurgen Klopp kick-off special. It's called Auf Wiedersehen Klopp, Monday night on Talksport, looking at the future of the of Liverpool Football Club and what is next for the Reds and Jurgen Klopp. Danny Kelly is going to be joined by Anfield favourite Danny Murphy, and guests include the former Liverpool CEO Peter Moore. That's Auf Wiedersehen Klopp on Talksport on Monday evening from 7 o'clock on the kick-off programme. Do stick with us. You're listening to Talksport. The second half of Fulham versus Newcastle is coming up shortly.
The Emirates FA Cup live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
You may not know that you have the power to compare great credit card deals with Compare the Market.
You also may not know that a banana is technically a berry, but a strawberry isn't.
What's that got to do with credit cards?
I thought we were just saying stuff you might not know.
Meerkat your credit card with the power to compare a range of great deals and providers. We'll check your eligibility without it affecting your credit score. From 0% interest purchase offers to balance transfers. Find the credit card that's right for you.
Strawberry. Crazy.
Compare the Market Limited acts as a credit broker, not a lender. Credit is subject to status, UK residents and 18 plus only.
At 3 Business, we think you should get more for less. With our boundless business offer, the whole team gets unlimited calls, data, and texts. And the more SIMs you buy, the more you'll save. All on the UK's fastest 5G network. That's what we call big value. Search 3 Business or visit us in store.
Unlimited in the UK, based on Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data H1 2023. C3.co.uk.
Home workouts becoming a bit of a stretch? Get way more classes for your cash at Pure Gym, with unlimited sessions at no extra cost.
Hold up! What if I need to cancel?
There's no contract, just way more flex for your fee. And for all you night owls, enjoy way more midnight runs for your money too, with 24/7 access. All from just $17.99 a month, with 50% off your first month and no joining fee for a limited time only. Pure Gym, way more than you pay for. Terms and conditions apply.
Stop smoking this new year and good things start to happen. You'll feel healthier and be taking the stairs 2 at a time before you know it. You no longer need 12 air fresheners hanging in your car. You'll have more money in your pocket. Your hands get kept busy in other ways, like throwing a frisbee in the park for your kids or someone else's dog. Stopping smoking is the best thing you can do for your health. There's still time to make 2024 the year you quit. For free support, search Smoke Free.
Everyone knows that saving energy saves money. But you don't have to go hardcore to beat the meter. Here's a tip. Every time you load up the washing machine, turn the temperature down to 30 degrees. It'll clean your clothes and could save you up to £20 a year in energy bills. Wash, save, repeat. It all adds up. Find more energy-saving tips at gov.uk/save energy.
Steakhouse Stack. With 2 beef patties, crispy onions and peppercorn sauce, it's the kind of McDonald's you take photos of to put pride of place on the mantelpiece. Sure, you'll need to make room, but you remember what your wedding day looked like. The Steakhouse Stack. It's McDonald's, and then some. Available until the 6th of Feb, served from 11am, subject to availability. Participating restaurants only.
The Talksport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Featuring teams from across all the major divisions. Discover a league of unbeatable club-dedicated content in just one click.
The Talksport Fan Network.
Created by the fans, for the fans.
Search Talksport Fan Network.
Cut. Tesco baked beans. Cut. Tesco squeezy clear honey. Cut, cut, cut. All to help you with your everyday essentials. Tesco. Every little helps. Strawberries 227 grams, baked beans 420 grams, majority of larger stores.
The McDonald's Saver Meal Deals have it all, like the classic cheeseburger Saver Meal Deal, including medium fries and a drink for just $3.99, or the delicious double cheeseburger meal deal, which is twice as nice for just $4.79. But there's more. For $3.99, you can get the mouth-watering mayo chicken meal deal, all in a delicious bun. Phew, I'm talking so fast because we all like getting our money's worth, and that's why I've only got 20 seconds to tell you about the McDonald's Saver Meal Deals. From 11am, not available on delivery.
Welcome to 32 Red Online Casino! Incredible! Play over 500 games, including exclusive slots, the Cube, Tipping Point, and I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here! Join 32 Red and get a bang-tiny welcome bonus up to 150 quid. 150 quid? That's incredible! Visit 32red.com to claim. 18 plus begambleaware.org. New accounts only. Minimum £10 deposit. Up to 50 times wagering. Max stakes apply. Visit 32red.com for full terms.
As a wise man once nearly said, there are only 2 certainties in life: football and taxes.
It is game on!
That's why this self-assessment tax deadline day, Talksport has teamed up with Intuit QuickBooks to mix business with the beautiful game.
And it's a goal!
You finish your self-assessment, we'll cover all the speculation, spending and signings as the January transfer window comes to a close.
The final whistle has blown.
Deadlines day, throughout the day, next Wednesday on Talksport with Intuit QuickBooks. That's how you business differently.
Monday night, the FA Cup live on Talksport 2.
Oh, it's in!
100% super real commentary.
Blackburn versus Wrexham.
What a turn, what a goal!
Coverage from 7, kick-off 7:30.
Ricochets back into the goal!
Monday night on Talksport 2.
The Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
It's Fulham 0, Newcastle 1 at half-time at Craven Cottage. Let's look ahead. Let's look back at the half-time highlights in partnership with Carling.
It is the last chance for Newcastle to avoid a 55th successive season without a major trophy. The long, infamous barren run dependent on FA Cup glory, a competition in which they've had the most miserable series in recent years. Deckled overreach should be able to clear his lines, always giving it away. It's a right-footed effort, saved by Rodak. And somehow Fulham have got away with it. He's inside the penalty area. It's Muniz! And it's an outstanding save. And he got a right hand to it and just angled it past the post. Miley near the penalty spot, and then a left-footed effort is rifled in. It's a quite brilliant strike from Sean Longstaff. And against a run of play, Newcastle United the lead.
That was all thanks to Carling, the half-time highlights in partnership with them.
The Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Before the teams come out for the second half, let's get quickly back over to Craven Cottage, shall we, and have a quick catch-up with Darren Ambrose. Darren, obviously, Fulham disappointed going in at the break by trailing by a goal. Now that Willian is on the pitch, are you anticipating the quality in the final third to increase?
It should do. It should do. The quality that Willian has. We see immediately when he came on, he almost nipped in at the back post where I think it was Deckled overread. That was Tete played the cross, and Kieran Trippier almost got caught out with him behind. But yeah, I think if we're looking at Willian, we're looking at players on the bench that can come on and change it. I think you have to look at Fulham could change a little bit more. Raul Jimenez on the bench, Pellegrini, Carlos Vinicius, Tom Kearney, of course, can come on and change the game. So I'd expect to see some kind of changes, maybe not immediately, but if they want an opportunity to get back in the game, I'd expect to see Marco Silva make those changes.
Are you expecting more this second half from the Newcastle midfield?
I'm expecting more. I think Eddie Howe will have had some words. I mean, you can take some... Fulham, in terms of Fulham, they can take some confidence. They've gone behind. The last 2 times they've gone behind here, they got a draw against Liverpool in the EFL Cup, and they beat Arsenal 2-1 in the League Cup, and they went behind both times. So I think Eddie Howe needs to be aware of a quick start to the second half by Fulham, but I expect better from New, because they never really got going, and I think they're lucky to be 1-0 up.
Having had a look at their bench, are you anticipating Eddie Howe to make any half-time substitutions?
No, I think he'll give them another 10-15 minutes not to rectify their mistakes, because they're in the lead, but I think if they can get through to an hour, 70 minutes, I think we may be seeing some players to come on and shore it up. Livramento maybe down the right hand side. Once Jacob Murphy, he'll get a little bit tired. Maybe him and Kieran Trippier can get down there. Look, there's not as much on the Newcastle bench as there is on the Fulham bench to change it, but the Newcastle bench can shore it up if needed.
Those Newcastle fans might need to raise the decibels. It was quite evident after about 20 minutes of that first half that they knew how their side was performing against Fulham. Fulham absolutely shut them up, didn't they, early doors?
That was down to the way Fulham started, the way Fulham played, particularly in the first half an hour. And I said this with Jim in commentary, that it quietened the Geordies, and you don't often say that, but once that goal went in, they did find their voice again, and a couple of them lost their shirts, which I did notice, and fair play to them, because there's no way I would in this weather.
So, half-time wise, from a Fulham point of view, would you bring on Raul Jimenez now?
No, I'd give it 10 minutes. I think managers like to do that. They like to give the players that started 10 minutes. They've done well. They've just not really taken their opportunities, and that's certainly something that Raul Jimenez will do. So 10-15 minutes you normally get. They'll say, right, go out, try and improve on the forward, the attacking style, and then I've got these changes to make. And I'm sure we'll be seeing Raul Jimenez in around an hour, 70 minutes into the game.
Listen, if my charity bet's going to come in, hopefully we need to see some goals in this second half, buddy, let me tell you. Just a quick reminder, if you are listening to us, wherever you are in the world, we've got more games coming throughout the course of the next 24 hours, all connected to the FA Cup 4th round. 11:45, it's West Brom versus Wolves. Make sure you tune in for that tomorrow. At 2:30, it's Liverpool versus Norwich. First one back at Anfield since Jurgen Klopp announced that he's calling time at Anfield at the end of the season. Newport versus Manchester United. Is there going to be a banana skin in that one? That's at 4:30. Already today, we've had some fantastic results. A wonderful away performance from Brighton at Sheffield United. Hat-tricks in that one. I won't give away too much, just in case you want to catch up with it a little later on. But Maidstone are the story of the day without any shadow of a doubt, as the boys have been alluding to in commentary. A history-making performance from them, getting the job done away at your old boys there, Darren. How will the Ipswich boys be feeling, obviously?
Extremely disappointed. I always think, and whether I'm affiliated with clubs or not, you play your best side in the FA Cup. I always think that. And if they'd have done that, given it an hour, then it'd have been 3 or 4-0 potentially, then to make changes. But to make 10 changes, it's come back to bite Kieran McKenna, unfortunately, today. They'll be very disappointed. No one wants to be part of one of the biggest cup upsets in history. But if anyone that I would like to see have beaten Ipswich, it was George Elokobi. He was my former teammate at Colchester. Unbelievable human being, first and foremost. And I've just seen a clip of him speaking to the supporters before the game even started outside Portman Road. If anyone deserves that, he does. So although I'm disappointed for Ipswich, I'm delighted for George Elokobi.
Absolutely, mate. Listen, the discipline that team showed today and the legs that they put into that, absolutely well deserved. Took the goals well as well. Right, you're listening to Talksport. It's time to get stuck into the second half. It is currently Fulham 0, Newcastle 1. Can Fulham overturn that deficit in the second phase? Let's get back to Craven Cottage. You just heard the dulcet tones of Darren Ambrose there, but leading us in commentary this evening, Jim Proudfoot.
Adam, thanks. No further changes being made at this juncture. Fulham made one right at the end of the first half because Wilson had a shoulder injury and he's been replaced by Willian. So Fulham lining up: Rodak in goal, Teddy, Diop, Riemann, Robinson, Reed and Lukic, Decordova, Reed, Pereira, Willian and Rodrigo Muniz up front. Newcastle, Dubravka, Trippier, Cher, Botman and Byrne, Lewis, Miley, Guimaraes and Longstaff, Jacob Murphy, Isak and Gordon. Jared Gillett's the referee. Cher's been booked. Byrne's been really lucky not to have been. And Sean Longstaff's goal is the difference between the two teams. No Premier League team has ever lost 8 in a row against fellow top-flight sides. So a little bit of history that Newcastle had tried to avoid tonight in the FA Cup. But so far, so good as far as they're concerned. It hasn't been a vintage performance from the Toon. But they have the lead. And this competition, that's all that matters. Ball out of play for a throw that'll be taken over on the Fulham left-hand side. They're kicking from left to right in their white shirts and black shorts. Newcastle in their change kit of green shirts and white shorts. Fulham in possession. Tete and Decordova-Reid almost tackling each other. Comes down to the dreadlock winger who chips it forward. Tete winning the second ball, trying to get himself into a shooting position. Harrison Reed will deliver, and his cross is cleared out towards the corner flag. Byrne from down in that vicinity can clear. Isak will try and come to meet it. Tim Reed mops up at the back for Fulham, who've been on the front foot in the early exchanges, the first minute of the second half, Darren.
Yeah, exactly the same as the first part of the first half as well. Fulham starting very fast, very strong, trying to play a high press, getting in behind Dan Byrne as Decordova-Reid is now. Newcastle have to change something.
Decordova-Reid's cross blocked. And they get a second bite of the cherry, and that one is blocked and put out of play off Gordon for another Fulham corner. They had 7 in the first half. What will they be able to do with this, their first of this second period?
Has to be said, the delivery's been poor though for nearly every corner. I think it's Pereira over there at the moment. I think he took a few of them as well. I'm surprised not to see Willian on them. Maybe if it was the other side you'd see Willian on it.
So it's on the Fulham right, and it's going to be a Pereira away swinger. 2-pace run-up and easily headed clear. Just in keeping with many of the previous 7. Guimaraes, you said, only fell for Reed though. Back out towards Pereira. He's gone deep for the bleached-haired Robinson. Now Decordova-Reid. Down to Reed. Harrison Reed through the midfield. Diop will control it. Laid to his left-hand side for the veteran American international Tim Ream. And a very warm welcome to you if you're joining us in North America. You're listening on Sirius XM FC. Jim Proudfoot and Darren Ambrose, the former Newcastle midfielder, talking you through the action here in West London on a mildish night. Here's Robinson. Decordova-Reid with a little cushion header, and Harrison Reed has done well. Back for Decordova-Reid, but he's offside. William with a good finish, don't count. But he's rifled that in from the edge of the penalty area with a very crisp right-footed shot, but the flag was long since up against Bobby Decordova-Reid.
What a finish, by the way. I mean, he's clearly offside, and the assistant referee actually flagged early this time, but he cuts it back. Willian is about 17 yards out, smashes it into the top corner. Fantastic finish, but the flag had already gone up.
Newcastle playing out from the back again. Botman back to his goalkeeper. Long clearance from Dubravka, volley back. Rodrigo Muniz trying to chest it into the path of Pereira. Didn't quite come off. Robinson has it now. The other United States international in the Fulham side. 139 appearances for the USA. There's Cher, Swiss international, turning it through the midfield. Newcastle with an opportunity to break. Harrison Reed against Bruno Guimaraes. One of the more intriguing battles on the field. And neither won that latest instalment of it. Guimaraes keeping possession, but Reed forcing him way back. Newcastle working back for Dubravka again. There he goes out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area for Cher. Through the middle for the retreating Isak, who has scored in each of his last 4 games. 5 goals in those 4 games, but hasn't had a chance worthy of the name so far tonight. And he has Black and White Army. Rings out from our left-hand side at the Putney end of the ground, where the visitors are delighted with what they've seen so far. Certainly in terms of the scoreline, they'll be hoping that the performance is a little bit better in the second half. Pereira back for Diop. Diop on halfway. Forward towards Reed. Reed turning it lately to his left-hand side for Pereira. Coming forward on the overlap is Robinson. First time ball in from him. Willian couldn't quite get himself into a shooting position, and Newcastle, with some more last-ditch defending, get it away in the form of Longstaff. It's another quickly taken throw that comes in towards Willian, but the referee has just said, wait a moment, because Lukic went down injured in that last phase of attacking play, and Jared Giller wants to see if he needs any treatment. He's already waved the Fulham medical staff on.
Yeah, he looks to be struggling. He looks to be pointing at his left knee as well. He was down for quite a while as the game was going on, as the attack was going on. And in terms of the attack, you can see the difference that Willian's brought to the left-hand side. He likes to come in, drift in a lot more, which is allowing Anthony Robinson to make those marauding runs down the left-hand side. It almost created an opportunity for Willian, who was in the box, as we see in Lukic. I think they're doing all the tests on his knee, any ligament joint damage. It will remain to be seen. If there's any damage, he's going to have to come off.
Not a lot's change in the opening 5 minutes of the second half, though, Daz, and that will be a concern for Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall.
I think so, yeah. As I was saying at half-time, I'd expect Eddie Howe to get into them a little bit in terms of tell them that they're not doing particularly well, but install some positivity into them, that you're not playing well and you're winning 1-0. But they've come out second half, they've started the second half exactly the same way they've started the first half, a little bit sloppy. Fulham on the front foot. It's all down the Newcastle end once again. I know we're only 6 minutes into the second half, but Eddie Howe will be disappointed once again with the start, because they're not putting much pressure onto Fulham at all. Not really seen Isak at all in this whole match, to be honest. He had that one run where he overrun it and he took it off for a goal kick, but he's isolated up front on his own.
Well, in the second half so far, they've had more possession than they did in the first. 64% in these very early stages. Let me remind you what's coming up tomorrow as Lukic gets back to his feet. We've got 3 live FA Cup ties for you. West Brom Wolves at 11:45. Liverpool Norwich at 2:30. First game of Jurgen Klopp's long goodbye. And then Newport against Manchester United. 76 places between those two teams. We saw a 98-place deficit overcome earlier today with Maidstone's win at Ipswich. All 3 of those games live for you, back to back to back here on Talksport tomorrow. And then Monday night, it's Blackburn Wrexham. Here's Kenny Tete, right-hand side of the Newcastle penalty area. But in keeping with so many previous passages of play, the quality of the final ball has left an awful lot to be desired.
Yeah, it's brilliant play by Fulham once again. Diop plays the ball, which is essentially going to Decord over Reed, but Tete's made a fantastic overlapping run. Decord over Reed spots it, just lets it go, dummies it, and he's in on goal. But yeah, the lack of quality in the final third, the delivery, it's causing Fulham some problems.
It is a magnificent, idiosyncratic arena, Craven Cottage. You sit here, and if you've ever been here, you know exactly where you are. You couldn't confuse it with anywhere else. But it's got pretty tight confines. And the referees had to stop play there because Lukic was receiving treatment right on the right-hand touchline, literally on the touchline, that he could have been involved in play and could have clattered into it. He is okay, he's back on his feet. Play continues, and Fulham win a corner, which will be taken again on the Pereira right-hand side. So this is corner number 9. And it's going to be a right-footed away swinger. Better delivery this time, but still not good enough. Stanburn got there ahead of Diop. Pereira playing it down the right-hand touchline for Kenny Tete. Tete's ball inside the penalty area towards the penalty spot. And that one was headed away by Cher. Back from Robinson, climbing above Murphy. Isak wins the loose ball. Gordon turning it forward. Murphy, who will chase pigeons, but stood no chance of getting on the end of that. And Fulham can mop up at the back. And Newcastle, as an attacking entity in this second half, have offered nothing.
They've been poor. I mean, they was poor in the first half, to be honest, as an attacking entity. They had a couple of opportunities, more so from Fulham's mistakes, and they didn't capitalise on them. But they're winning 1-0. That's the crazy thing about football. They're winning 1-0 at the moment.
Teddy with a long deep ball in there, and Willian just waved it goodbye. He made a good long early run. And he knew as soon as the ball left Teddy's foot that he had no chance of getting on it. And it's a throw to Newcastle.
I don't know what you think, Jim. I think they need to change. They need to change their corner routine. Fulham. They're doing exactly the same thing every corner. Pereira is getting the ball. He's putting it in the box. You've got Dan Burns, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, who's just going to clear the ball. They can't get on the end. You look how Newcastle's goal come about. They changed the angle. They played a short corner. They moved the defenders around. Fulham are not doing enough on set plays.
And now they've given it away with a loose touch from Rodrigo Muniz down and straight out of play for a throw that will be taken by Dan Burn on the Newcastle left. I told you the game's coming up tomorrow. Between games 1 and 2, so that's between the Black Country Derby and the Liverpool-Norwich game, we'll have the draw for the 5th round, 2:10. That's also here on Talksport. As Schär finds Trippier. Good turn by Murphy, but his touch was a little bit heavy. Certainly wasn't as good as the turn. Lukic, who seems all right, having received 3 or 4 minutes of treatment for that knee problem, can spin it down to the touchline for Tete. Played 10 minutes of the second half here on Talksport and on Sirius XM FC across North America. It's Fulham 0, Newcastle United 1. Tim Reed out to the Fulham left-hand side for Robinson. Takes a touch. Next touch is to fire the ball in, and it's easily cleared again. Fulham bringing it forward. Lukic, the deckled over Reed. Harrison Reed, good strong run outside him from Kenny Tete. Wraps his right foot around, takes a deflection. Did it hit an arm? That was the claim. The deflection took the ball into the midriff of Martin Dubravka. The VAR will be having a look at this. It did hit Dan Burns' arm, looking at a replay, Darren, but he's moved his arm right across his body. It's as part of the natural silhouette as it ever could be.
Yeah, there's no way a penalty. It was desperate cries from the Fulham supporters and a couple of the players. It wasn't too much of an appeal by the players. He's turned his back, Dan Burn. His arms are in close and it's just clipped off his elbow, but right decision, no penalty for me.
Desperate cries from the Fulham supporters, including the man who's right behind you. Don't turn round, but he's bigger than us. I reckon that he says it's a penalty.
All right, it's a penalty then.
Get the VAR involved. It's all right, he can't hear us. We're facing the wrong way. 12 minutes gone in the second half. Fulham 0, Newcastle 1. Robinson just poking it down the left-hand touchline. It's all Fulham in this second period, but they're not working Dubravka. Did make one outstanding save in the first half, as we mentioned a couple of occasions, but that's really all he's had to do. Fulham hitting their heads against brick walls at the moment. Green coming out of the centre circle, played down to the left back Robinson. Newcastle have won all 4 previous FA Cup ties against Fulham, and they've scored a 4, 2 5s and a 6 in doing so. 1 might be enough tonight, the way things are going. Deckled over Reed, can't pick up second ball on the edge of the penalty area. Newcastle bring it away with Murphy. Down towards Isak on the left-hand side. He's got Gordon in support for him. Isak's used him as the decoy, cuts inside. A vicious right-footed swerving shot. Rodak got down to his right and made a relatively comfortable save, although it was doing plenty in the air. And with Gordon lurking, you had to make sure that his handling was good.
Oh, it's the first real opportunity we've seen Isak get the ball, able to face the defence and attack them. And he'd certainly done that, and he cut inside it, a vicious shot, but it was straight at Rodak, which he would have been pleased with because it had the pace to beat him but just didn't have the angles.
Shot of a man in good goal scoring form. He's got 14 this season, and it has been a slightly injury interrupted campaign as well. 14 in 23, pretty tidy. It's deckled over Reed, side footing it in to the area for Harrison Reed, who tried to cross it across the edge of the 6-yard box. Had he run onto that and hit it first time, it might have been a different story. But as soon as he took a touch, he was getting forced away from goal. Newcastle try and break with Gordon. Fulham win it back immediately and work it out towards Robinson, who's level with the edge of the Geordies penalty area. Getting towards the byline, he checks and turns it back for Willian. Slowing it down to walking pace. Back it goes for Robinson. First time ball in, very deep. Harrison Reed controls it. Pull back for Tete. Edge of the area. Right footed shot goes over the bar.
He has to hit it first time, Harrison Reed, as Tete gets down the outside, plays it across, and he takes a touch and he takes it too wide. the angle is too tight. He tries to cross it. He hits that first time, he's got an opportunity. But I'm loving the tactics that Fulham are playing this second half. You got Deco-Dovereed and Willian, who are playing narrow, which is allowing Tete and Anthony Robinson down the other side to be the outlet. And Newcastle can't get to grips with that at the moment. And all the best opportunities are coming from probably Tete down this side and maybe one or two from Robinson.
They can't get to grips with it. I'll get your thoughts in a moment on what they should be doing to try. Here's Bruno Guimaraes inside the centre circle. There's an excellent aerial pass out towards Murphy. That was a peach. Rolled inside the penalty area. Pegged back towards Gordon. And it's deflected away and out for a corner. Newcastle's first of this second half.
Yeah, and it's Sean Longstaff again with that run into the box. Great timing of the run. Arriving late. Picks the ball up and tries to drive in behind the Fulham defenders. Couldn't quite get there, but they look dangerous when they put one or two passes together, which is not very often at the moment.
1-0 Newcastle, we've played an hour. Kieran Trippier to take the corner, right-footed, fired in with pace. Bowman's initial effort was saved, and it's bundled over the line from close range for two. Dan Burn inflicting the damage. It's another sucker punch against the run of play. A set piece in the first half, a set piece in the second. Fulham with all the possession. Newcastle with a 2-0 lead. And they're heading through to round 5.
Look what happens, Jim, when you have good delivery. We've seen Pereira on the other side, numerous amounts of corners, not with the right delivery. This time, Kieran Trippier for Newcastle plays a fantastic ball. I think it was Fabian Schär who was... No, it was Sven Botman above Fabian Schär who attacked the ball. Couldn't quite get hold of it, Rodak, who's had a good game today, but couldn't quite get hold of it. There was Dan Burn, right place, right time to blast it home from a yard. And has to be said, once again, against the run of play, Newcastle score.
Scored against Fulham 6 weeks ago. He's done it again, Dan Burn, who did make it through to the quarter-final with Wigan when they were a third-tier side back in 2018. Had that very notable victory against Manchester City in that cup run, and were eliminated at the quarter-final stage by Southampton. Well, the Newcastle fans singing of Wembley. Their last away win in the FA Cup against the Premier League side was 20 years ago. January the 3rd, 2004.
I might have been there then.
I think you were injured that day. Kieran Dyer got a couple. Lauren Robert got the other.
Southampton.
3-0 win at Southampton.
I was there.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I think you were man of the match. Here's Murphy. Robinson getting it back on the Fulham left-hand side. So 20 years those Newcastle fans have waited. And let me tell you, having seen the TV pictures, there are a few that are wearing very little in that away end who weren't born 20 years ago. But they're enjoying the moment. Tim Ream gets it forward. Robinson. Back towards Dion. Dion getting it forward through the midfield for Willian. He's inside the Newcastle half of the centre circle as he spins it down towards the left. Fulham 0, Newcastle United 2. Longstaff on 39, Burn on 61. Two Geordies doing the damage from set pieces. Longstaff's finish excellent. Dan Burn's finish rudimentary, but you had to be in the right place to get the opportunity just to whack it in from a yard. Here's Bobby Deco-Dovereed. He's pulled it back for Harrison Reed. Ball inside the penalty area from him is cleared. Out as far as Lukic. Lukic trying to work it onto his left foot for a shot, couldn't. Then goes down towards Robinson. Robinson checks and plays it back. Lukic getting it back out towards Willian again. Willian coming in off the left-hand touchline here for Fulham. Lofted ball from him down towards Kenny Tete. Tete with a real high up and under a steepling cross. Nunez chased after it, then appeared to just lose the flight of the ball, maybe in the floodlights. Now Trippier lets it run over the line and out of play for a goal kick. Fulham are going to make a change. And Pereira is going to be coming off. Tom Cairney will come on to replace him.
Yeah, we've not seen the best of Pereira today, particularly at the set play delivery, as we've said. He's not been at his very, very best. But think it has to be said, no matter how critical I have been of Newcastle's performance today, and I still do think they've not been great, particularly in the final third and the midfield third. They've done a number at the moment, 2 counter-attacks, 2 goals, and you know, whether I think they deserve it or not, Eddie Howe will be delighted with that.
3-0 win at Sunderland in round 3, a 2-0 lead at Fulham in round 4. Really good start to this FA Cup campaign. The last man that scored a winning goal in an FA Cup tie against Premier League opposition anywhere for Newcastle was Jonas Gutierrez, and that was a stoppage time goal against Blackburn back in 2012. It's been a decade of ignominious FA Cup exits. Eddie Howe hasn't been immune to that. Think of Sheffield Wednesday, think of Cambridge in the very early days of his reign, but he's got a smile on his face at the moment. Kenny Tete getting towards the byline, Burning with another really strong challenge. The ball goes out of play. Is it a corner or a throw? Hard to see from this vantage point that we've got. Mark Scholes, the assistant on the near touchline, just indicating it's going to be a throw. Bobby Decordova-Reid will leave it for Kenny Tete. 25 minutes then for Fulham to get themselves back into this, to avoid an 8th exit in 10 ties at this stage of the competition. Diop. Back for Reid. Inside the centre circle for Fulham. Straight through the middle, looking for Rodrigo Muniz, who's done well. Turns, gets away from Guimaraes. Reid lets the ball run past him. Just waiting for Teddy to take responsibility. He didn't. The Dutchman peeled away, so Reid works it in. Decordova-Reid's got it now. Little trick from him, trying to get round Miley. Stands it up towards the far post. Muniz maybe given a shove. Referee thought not. And a shot comes in from distance, which is very easily claimed. Robinson's effort on his weaker right foot. And Dubravka can dive away to his left-hand side and gratefully gather.
Yeah, very, very theatrical there by Muniz. I think it was in hope more than anything. Kieran Trippier hardly touched him. And then Anthony Robinson, yeah, a weak, tame effort into the hands of Dubravka.
You're listening to Fulham against Newcastle in the FA Cup. It's live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. On the day that Maidstone won 2-1 at Ipswich to make headlines around the football world. Victories as well for Luton, 2-1 at Everton. Corley Woodrow with the winner in stoppage time. Leicester comfortably seeing off Birmingham, at least comfortable in terms of the scoreline. And lucky to be on level terms at half-time, but ended up winning it 3-0. Brighton won 5-2 in a topsy-turvy game at Sheffield United, where they led 2-0, were pegged back to 2-2, but Joao Pedro got a hat-trick, and Brighton won it 5-2. They're through. Bournemouth already through from Thursday. Manchester City made it through last night. They've got 4 replays. Is it 4 or 5 replays already booked into the calendar, and you'll hear those on Talksport in 10 days' time. Anthony Gordon now for Newcastle, making his way forward. Third goal, and it's all over. He starts his way around Tete. Rodak did well because he fired a cross in, and Rodak got enough on it to be able to punch it away from the onrushing cavalry, and it goes out of play for a throw.
Yeah, it's good play by Anthony Gordon. A great ball by Lewis Miley down the outside, and Tete looked a little bit tired, and not surprisingly all the runs he's been making going forward, but first and foremost his job is to defend, and he couldn't defend that in and out by Anthony Gordon, but just over hit his cross. He'll be disappointed with the end part of that. Other than that, it was fantastic play.
Here's Decordova-Reid, who scored the winner for Fulham in round 3, which is only the second FA Cup goal of his career. Back for Diop. Now to Ream. Ream playing it for Ken. He stumbled, but was still able to flick the ball into the path of Robinson. Back for Tom Kearney again. A servant he's been to Fulham over the last decade. Willian chipping it forward. Muniz controlling it, coming back towards the edge of the penalty area. Kearney, Willian bringing it forward again, giving it away. And Newcastle on the break will be able to release Gordon, and it's 2 against 2. Gordon's got Isak up with him. He tries to take on Diop for pace, and Diop comes back and remedies the situation. It's nothing worse than a corner.
It's the wrong decision by Anthony Gordon. It's 2v2, and he's tried to take it the outside towards his left foot past Diop, and it's the wrong decision. If he attacks him on the right, he creates that kind of 2v1 attack in the Tim Ream it was, and Isak is telling him, just come my way and we can create this 2v1. Wrong decision, but as we said, great defending by Diop. I thought he had him for pace, Anthony Gordon, but he didn't. It was good defending, and he slid, and he looked to be hurt, Gordon, but he's up and he's walking around.
Yeah, he took him on the outside, then checked back with his left foot, but in doing so, he just smacked the ball straight into the groin of Diop, who Winston cleared. Corner to Newcastle, their 5th of the game. Have scored from 2 set pieces. In towards the near post, that one is easily clear. It was Kenny Tete that just ducked and was able to power a header away towards halfway. Back it will come again though from Gordon. High aerial ball out towards the right hand side of the box. Harrison Reed dealing with that. Fulham trying to get it forward with Kearney. Straight ball from him towards Willian. Sliding challenge puts it out of play. It is a Fulham throw. Midway inside Newcastle territory. They got 20 minutes here, Fulham, to get 2 goals to take this to extra time. They're going to bring on Tosin Adarabioyo for Issa Diop and Raul Jimenez, almost certainly for Rodrigo Muniz. We'll find out in a moment. But it is going to be Tosin and Jimenez coming on for the final 20 minutes.
Yeah, he has to try something. Marco Silva has to try and make a change to this Fulham side, particularly in the attacking third, because however impressed I have been with the tactics, with the certain styles and certain things that Fulham have done, they've not really caused Dubravka any problems at all, apart from perhaps the first half, Rodrigo Muniz, where he created that opportunity and the outstretched right arm kept them at bay. They've not really tested them, so Raul Jimenez will certainly be looking to do that.
Well, it ended up being a triple change as far as Fulham were concerned. It had to be, because they made one in playing time at the end of the first half, one earlier in this second period. Tete bringing it forward. Here's Lukic, right-footed ball in from him. Trippier able to knock it away relatively comfortably on the edge of his penalty area. And Miley will play down the left-hand side for Anthony Gordon. So it's Tosin, Jimenez and Palhinha are the 3 Fulham players that have come on. Bobby Nickel-Nova-Reid made way. Back from Byrne. Guimaraes. So they've got Muniz, they've got Jimenez actually sort of lurking in a kind of inside right position. But Muniz is still the man leading the line. Botman in possession here for Newcastle inside his own half. They lead by 2-0 with 18 minutes to go. Willian forced the backtrack, hooks the ball over his right shoulder. It's brought down there by Lukic, and he's fouled. It's a free kick which will be taken on the Fulham left-hand side. What are your thoughts on those changes?
Well, I'm pleased to see Muniz stay on the pitch and Raul Jimenez come on and play alongside him. Well, it looks to be, as you said, he's playing on the right with Muniz down the middle, because they need a goal. And to be able to score a goal, you need your goal scorers on the pitch. There was no point changing like for like. He's kept Muniz on. Raul Jimenez will, no doubt, get an opportunity, but he has to take it. Whoever gets an opportunity for Fulham has to take them, because they need to get a goal very soon to make a game of it.
2-0 Newcastle lead, 18 minutes to go. Fulham, who've lost 5 of their last 7 games against Premier League opposition, and might be going out of the second cup competition in 72 hours. Here's Willian, high ball inside the penalty area. That would have been meat and drink for Jimenez if Dan Byrne hadn't been there just to knock it away from him. First contribution for the Mexican since coming on the edge of the Newcastle box. Turning, forced wide by Gordon. He's able to find Kenny Tete. And Tete goes back towards halfway here for Tosin Adarabioyo. He'll get it back again through the midfield. Down towards Palhinha. Palhinha venturing forward, checks and comes back again for Tosin. And towards Kenny Tete. Tete down the line for Jimenez, and Dan Byrne just out-muscled him, able to get it away. Miley pokes it back towards the edge of his own penalty area. It's all got a little bit harum-scarum in there. Botman couldn't get it away. Fulham trying to win it back. And Palhinha leaning into Miley. He's won a throw. Fulham desperately trying to find the foundation for a comeback here.
Yeah, changes have made a difference already, particularly Raul Jimenez, and it's bodies in the box, bodies up top creates chaos and that's what they're looking to do. While we're in the 75th minute, and they're going to get a chance. Newcastle making a substitution, but Fulham have made the changes. They've tried to get back into this game. They just need to take a chance very, very soon.
Well, this was the change that you were talking about earlier. Murphy coming off, and Livramento is going to come on to replace him.
Yeah, he's worked hard, Murphy, and he always does. No one can say he never works hard. He puts a shift in for his team. But Livramento's got that extra little bit of quality, a bit of freshness. He's going to definitely add some legs to this Newcastle side.
So that's the first Newcastle change. Fulham have made all 5 of theirs. Just to clear up that last triple change, incidentally, it was Tosin, Jimenez and Palhinha for Diop, Dickled Reed and Reed. Robinson on the Fulham left. Kearney, another one of the Fulham substitutes in support. Long switch of play out towards Kenny Tete on the Fulham right. Well, it's easy for Byrne, just steer it away. Fulham have struggled in front of goal recently. 6 goals in the last 9 league games, and when you've only kept 3 clean sheets in 22 matches as it is now, that's not a recipe for success. 4 from Tosin Adarabioyo. Kearney out towards Robinson. Robinson making his way down the Fulham left-hand side. Newcastle still standing firm, leading this by 2-0. Shots on target from the Fulham players have been a real rarity. They've only had 2 so far. Newcastle, for their part, have had 6 at the other end.
Yeah, it just shows the frailties at the moment, as you mentioned, in front of goal. They've got their big players on now. Raul Jimenez, Muniz up top. They need to change it. We've spoken, I'm repeating myself now, that they need to take an opportunity, because Newcastle don't. They can just sit with a bank of 4 or 5 midfielders and say, come and break us down, and at the moment it's not happening.
Tete just launching it inside the penalty area, and it's over the bar. Flying header from Raul Jimenez as Dubravka got stuck in no man's land. I think he was expecting Botman to deal with it, and Jimenez made the most of the lack of communication, threw himself at it, and his head has gone over the bar by a foot.
Yeah, and it's Tete causing the problems again down the right-hand side, and that's why Livramento's been brought on to stop that. And I said Raul Jimenez would get an opportunity, but I also said he'd more than likely take it. It's a good chance. It's a good effort, good chance. Just the wrong side of the bar for him.
He was sent off the last time the two sides met. He's also a player that has scored a goal in an FA Cup semi-final in the past, back in his Wolves days 5 years ago. Willian getting it full for him again here. Jimenez scampering after it and was beaten to it by the sliding Byrne, who puts it behind. Touches the other side of the corner flag. It's going to be a throw. There was a good battle for pace between those two. Neither breathtakingly quick, but very evenly matched. Here's Tete on the Fulham right, back for Palhinha. 13 minutes plus stoppage time separating Newcastle from a victory away from home to Premier League opposition in the FA Cup for the first time in 20 years. Tete's ball inside the penalty area. Jimenez took his eyes off it. Robinson then rifles it into the side netting from a tight angle from the other side of the box. But the first ball in was really dangerous. I don't know whether Jimenez wasn't expecting it to get as far as him. Just seemed to take his eyes off it, and it came off the top of his head.
Yeah, and it's Tete again, and Tete and Robinson both getting forward. A lovely cross into the box, and yeah, I don't think he was expecting, I think it might have been Fabian Schär to miss the ball as much as he did. He wasn't expecting it, tried to get his head on it and just got it all wrong, and then Robinson at the back post tried a half volley from a real tight angle, but the two fullbacks are causing all sorts.
3 more live FA Cup ties for you on Talksport tomorrow. Starting at 11:45, our live sport coverage for you starts from Hyderabad tomorrow at 3:30 a.m. for day 4 of the first test. Tino Livramento bringing the ball forward inside the penalty area, scuffs across, Robinson gets it away. So the cricket back with Darren Gough and the team tomorrow, 3:30 on TalkSport, and every ball on TalkSport 2 from 3:30 tomorrow morning. Ollie Pope starting 148 not out after a magnificent innings today. It's left England 126 ahead with 4 wickets still in hand and dreaming of frankly implausible victory after the second day. You never know. 11 minutes to go. Newcastle leading 2-0. Looking for goal number 3. Corner in towards the near post. Not the best. Guimaraes couldn't get there. Lukic will bring it clear. Ends up on the deck. Trippier then wins the throw off Robinson. That was a sliding challenge from Miley that had curtailed Lukic's progress to start with. He goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Newcastle left-hand side. Dan Burn in no hurry to take it, Darren, understandably, with a 2-0 lead with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, of course, he just a bit of time wasting, just take the bit of the pressure off. I'm looking at the corners, and apart from the corner that Newcastle scored from, a lot of them have been poor, and I'm thinking, there's not much of a run-up? Kieran Trippier there just hit the front man. The set plays have been particularly poor, apart from the one that they scored.
There's been a recurring theme throughout the night. This share back to his goalkeeper. And Dubravka just expecting Raul Jimenez to come and put him under a little bit of pressure. And when he did, he just fired it past the Mexican. And Newcastle will build from the back. Long ball launched forward from them. Isak chasing with Tosin. Ream with a beautiful turn, a drop of the shoulder inside his own penalty area, where there was a huge amount of risk involved in that, but he got it right.
That was lovely. Lovely play by Tim Ream. He was flying in at him, Anthony Gordon. He had to get it perfect or he would have nicked it and been on goal. It was brilliant. Composed, like a midfielder at the prime.
Like vintage Ambrose, that's what you're saying.
I didn't want to say that one.
Here's Lukic inside the centre circle. Now to Kearney. Kearney fires it out towards Willian on the Fulham left-hand side. 9 minutes to go. Willian with a little give and go. Didn't quite get the return. Trippier backpedaling, pokes it away. Gordon will work it further forward. Newcastle turn it forward towards halfway. Tosin didn't know whether to come and engage or not, so Isak got in there first. Now Miley down for Livramento. Two Newcastle youngsters combining. Dan Burn making a lung-busting run on the overlap for a moment, and now gravitates into the centre as the ball's played towards Miley. Miley back for Livramento again, and Livramento works it away from Lukic. Jimenez gets a touch, almost ends up with a face full of hoarding as he lost his balance. It will be a Newcastle United throw, and it feels a pretty comfortable Newcastle lead at the moment.
Yeah, it does. It's quite easy for Newcastle to defend this. Although Tete and Anthony Robinson's causing some issues, they're playing balls into the box. Apart from the one that just caught Fabian Schär out, it's quite easy for the big defenders to just head it clear, because I played with Dan Burn at Birmingham. He loves to do that. He loves to defend, to slide around and get muddy, get his head onto everything. And it looks like Botman and Fabian Schär are exactly the same kind of player.
Longstaff's been sneezed to the ground there by Palhinha. Free kick which Newcastle will take inside their half of the centre circle. Well, there have been some really nice moments for Fulham, but they've kind of fizzled out. And as things stand at the moment, Newcastle going through relatively comfortably without ever having been at their best today.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Eddie Howe, though, you're probably saying to Dan Burns, you don't need to make that run that he made just then. He made a run from his left-back position. He underlapped Livramento to get in behind the defenders. He's left Raul Jimenez free on the right-hand side, and he looked shattered when he turned round. But fair play to him. He's enjoying his night.
You're listening to Fulham against Newcastle in the FA Cup live on Talksport with Carling. The official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Palhinha for Fulham. 7 to go. Ball chipped down towards Kenny Tete. Teddy will take it on down towards the corner flag and win another corner off the retreating Tino Livramento. He's made a real impression on the Newcastle United supporters since he made his £40 million move from Southampton. Missed nearly all of last season, but has caught the eye this. Fulham's corner count into double figures. Will they get one to stick? 6 to go. So try and set up a grandstand finale. It's Willian with the delivery, and again it's an easy header away from Dan Burn. As you mentioned, Darren, every corner's been the same. Comes back out for Willian again. Willian to Kenny Tete. Willian will take over. Isak trying to stop the ball going outside for Kenny Tete. Couldn't do so. And Tete delivers, and Guimaraes will work it clear, but Robinson wins it back. Willian will take over. Isak left on the deck for a moment. Tom Cairney's got it now. 25 yards outside the box, finds Willian. Willian slows the ball down to a complete standstill, waving his legs over the top of the ball. Now he'll bring it forward again. Little lofted ball over the top. Lukic chasing after it, but in vain. And he goes out to play for a goal kick, and there are only 5 minutes left now.
The corners, go back to the corner point, Jim, it's just too easy. Every single one. We see Pereira in the first half and the second half, and the first time Willian has got onto the corner, outswinger from this side, and it's headed clear by one of the big defenders. From the other side, it's exactly the same. In-swinger, it's too easy. It's either headed clear or it's caught by Dubravka. Sometimes, if it's not working, they've had numerous corners, 10 plus corners. You need to try something different, whether that's a lack of working on the training pitch, whether that's a different personnel and they don't understand what the corners are. But we see with the first goal for Newcastle, it was a short corner routine. Ended up with Kieran Trippier putting it into the box from a different angle, which causes issues to the defenders when you're defending from another angle. It's just been too easy for the Newcastle defenders to head clear the Fulham corners.
Trippier's been down receiving treatment, so you're not missing anything. In fact, Newcastle are going to make a change. No point at this stage of the game with 4 minutes to go and a 2-0 lead to do anything other than be very precautionary. Trippier coming off. Emil Kraft will come on. 20 months without a Premier League start, but he's had a smattering of substitute appearances this season. Kraft for Trippier is the change that is being made with 4 minutes to go. Well, we talked about the importance of this game. We talked about the importance of the FA Cup this season for Newcastle. Find themselves languishing in 10th, which I don't think too many would have anticipated necessarily. I mean, all the talk at the beginning of the season was that they would need another miracle to finish in the top 4. Alan Shearer's words, not mine. But nevertheless, I don't think many anticipated that they would be down in 10th at this stage with 17 games to go, and on the back of a 4-game losing streak in the Premier League. It makes nights like this all the more significant, that when you get through the 5th round stage and it's opening up as it is, you will start to believe that it could just be your year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think last year was an illusion, really. They were way ahead of schedule, and I think that's credit to what Eddie Howe brought to the football club and the players themselves. No one expects them to make Champions League football last year. They did. It was a disappointing campaign this year, and it would have, as you said, have been a miracle to get back to the top 4 this season with the teams that are currently up there. Their away form has been a big factor in that. They've been poor, I think second from bottom in the away table this season. Their home form hasn't been too bad, to be honest, but yeah, I've said before, this lot would take 17th place in the Premier League if they were to win the FA Cup for sure.
Well, a 4th win of the season in all competitions is only minutes away now. Had success at Sheffield United, in the League Cup at Man United, in the FA Cup at Sunderland, and seemingly in the FA Cup here at Craven Cottage as well. We're in the 88th minute of the game. What do you reckon, 5 to be added on maybe? So probably about 7 minutes of playing time remains. The ball played by Emil Kraft off Willian, and out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the far side. Ball retrieved by Marco Silva, who won the Portuguese Cup very early in his managerial career with Sporting. Eddie Howe, on the other hand, who has not got a great record in the FA Cup, about to beat Premier League opposition in the competition for the first time ever as a player or a manager.
That's incredible. That's incredible. What a stat that is. And fair play, he's finally got there.
Botman playing it back for Kraft. Well, seemingly he's finally got there. Isak stumbles, ended up being a great dummy. Miley working it down the Newcastle left-hand side for Tino Livramento. He's on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Counts it back inside. Sends it up for Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes goes square rather than going for goal. And Newcastle just stringing the passes together in an advanced area here. Kraft. Back for Botman. Botman trying to get the ball away from Lukic. They'll be brought down again by Bruno Guimaraes. It's all about retaining possession now for Newcastle, with the game about to tick into minute 90. They lead 2-0. Goals from Longstaff and Byrne. Their passport to a place in the last 16 as things stand right now. Miley bringing it forward. Little reverse from him. Look for Isak. Couldn't find him. Jimenez will try and bring it away. Might have been a different story had his head had crept under the bar rather than gone over it, and he would have set up a grandstand finale. But as it is, Fulham have just not been able to inflict anything like a killer blow upfield. After that one early Dubravka save, he hasn't been troubled. Miley on halfway, rolling it down towards Isak. Isak's inside the penalty area. Livramento's there for support. Back it goes for Isak again. Pirouettes beautifully to come away with possession. Miley then goes down, but no foul by Lukic. His clearance seized upon by Isak. Tries to waltz his way through once more and can't do so. Kenny gets it away, and we go to 6 added minutes, and Jimenez is in possession for Fulham, who've got it all to do in double quick time.
Yeah, but they've got to give him a lift. That 6 minutes. They get one early in the first couple of minutes here. It's game on. You can't give up until you keep going. I know I said, look, he's done it, Eddie Howe, but it's not over yet. 6 minutes to go. It's lifted what is remained of the crowd here. There are a few that's emptied out at the moment, but it's lifted them, so they need to get a goal really soon.
Here's a day that has seen late drama in the FA Cup already. We saw late drama last night in the Tottenham Man City game. A winner much later than this for Luton at Everton earlier. Here's Willian. Willian on the edge of the penalty area, and he just ran into a brick wall. He's looking for a free kick there. No foul. Play goes on. Jimenez. Lukic getting around the back of Livramento, fires in the cross, too high for Muniz. Robinson will pull it back straight to Longstaff, and he can easily knock it away and find Gordon. And the counter-attack is on again here. Anthony Gordon motoring forward. Isak is the only player he's got in support. Guimaraes is coming forward now, though. Isak steps over it. Guimaraes works the angle, and Rabayo blocks it. Newcastle working forward again. Livramento can't get there. It's a poor ball to try and find him. Fulham clear, it hits Miley and comes down for Jimenez on the Fulham right and goes out for a Cottagers throw with 4.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. 2-0 Newcastle.
Newcastle don't need to do this. They don't need to create some problems for themselves. They're giving it away too easily. Anthony Gordon, okay, he had a race down the right-hand side. Over. Guimaraes doesn't need to get forward that much. 2-0, but again, the forward play from Fulham is just too easy for Newcastle to defend.
Tino Livramento in the heart of the midfield for Newcastle. It's just about looking after the ball. Now that will nurse them over the line. 4 minutes to go. Bruno Guimaraes turning in the midfield. To Miley, to Isak. Back again for Guimaraes. Fulham just chasing shadows at the moment. And their need is desperate. 3.5 minutes left. Newcastle with a 2-goal lead. Anthony Gordon. Isak making a run, trying to get round the back of Kenny Tete. Can't do so. Sliding challenge from Lukic, wins it back. Fulham motor into the centre circle. Kenny down the line for Willian. Willian driving forward with pace and real intent. Newcastle have got bodies back, trying to make life difficult for him. He's got 3 green shirts between himself and the edge of the penalty area. He's pulled it back here for Palhinha. Lukic now takes over. Kenny square to his right-hand side, and that's the pass that's played. So Kenny looks up, surveys his options and doesn't like what he sees. Has to go back square the other way for Palhinha. Robinson back out towards Willian. They need to get the ball inside the penalty area and do so quickly. He comes into the box and straight back out again. Kenny for Robinson, now fired in. Easily headed away by Botman. Brought down on the edge of the penalty area by Jimenez. He does get a shot in, and Dubravka can watch it wide. And that's going to be that.
Yeah, that seems to be the last real opportunity. We're in the 94th minute, and what Newcastle do extremely well is they get back in position. They work extremely hard. In the 94th minute, Anthony Gordon looks to be really, really tired, but he's getting back. He's demanding the best from himself to work hard for the team. He's actually being substituted now, probably. He's worked really hard. But yeah, they get back in position extremely well, Newcastle, and limit the opportunities.
That's a Gordon off, and Matt Ritchie comes on for the last 3 minutes or so. Play restarts with the goal kick that's taken by Dubravka. Sent high down towards this near touchline. Byrne coming to meet it. Didn't get a touch, neither did Jimenez. It goes out of play for a Fulham throw. Sad eyes of Marco Silva on the TV cameras. He stares out, surveying another Craven Cottage night of frustration. His second of the week. Got to pick themselves up. They've got Everton next in the Premier League. Newcastle going to Villa in the midweek fixtures coming up. And we'll bring you all the news of everything that happens in week 23 of the Premier League season on Talksport. Livramento looking for Isak, couldn't find him. Looks as though his goal-scoring runs going to falter tonight, having scored his last 4 now. Adebayo making a good run forward down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Works it inside the box, and Kenny slices wide when it seemed easier to score. Think it would have been academic anyway. But Tom Kenny's missed the target from 12 yards out. It was a glorious chance.
Yeah, it was a 2 substitution. Tosin down the right-hand side, cuts it back. Great cutback, and Tom Kenny, you'd expect to score that just to give the supporters in Craven Cottage something to cheer about. It'd have been a consolation, of course, in the 96th minute, but it was a poor effort, and it sums up Fulham's night in front of goal.
Dubravka with the goal kick. He's looking for the flick on. Ream's going to be there. Gets it back to his goalkeeper. Rodak will clear. I will just pump it long down the middle, where there was an unsubtle shove there from Botman on Muniz. Referee allows play to go on. Cher's got it at his feet. The last touch of the game is imminent. Newcastle leading it by 2-0. No, they're going through. Miley back for Guimaraes. Guimaraes having his shirt pulled there by Sasha Lukic, who then just gets calmed down by Jared Gillett, the referee. It is a free kick that Newcastle will take. 6 minutes are up. We have had a change of personnel during the 6 minutes, so a few extra seconds to be added on, but not many. And Newcastle, for only the second time in 18 years, make it through to round 5 of the FA Cup. Finally, their hoodoo against Premier League opposition in this competition comes to an end. First time they've beaten another top-flight side in the FA Cup for 12 years. And although Fulham were the better side in the first 45 minutes, a sucker punch set piece either side of half-time has got the job done. For Fulham, a second cup exit, a second painful night at the Cottage in 72 hours. For Newcastle, the dreams of success in the 23-24 season live on. Goals from Longstaff and Byrne. It's finished Fulham 0, Newcastle 2.
I'll tell you what, stats galore from Jim Proudfoot there. Great win for Newcastle on the road, 2-0 against Fulham. And Darren, we said at half-time you expected a little bit more quality in that final third from Fulham, and it just didn't come.
No, it didn't. They tried. They huffed and puffed. They brought on their main man, Raul Jimenez. He had an opportunity, put it over the bar, but yeah, it just didn't come, and that was their downfall today. And as I said in commentary, no matter how critical I was of some of Newcastle's play, they done a number over Fulham today, and they hit them twice on the counter-attack, 2 set plays, and scored 2 goals. And they're in the hat. That's all that matters.
From a Fulham point of view, out of 2 competitions in the same week, how does this affect them going forward, mate?
Well, they have to concentrate on the league now and try and finish the season. Like I said, I don't think they're going to be in a relegation battle. I think they're enough. Are they going to finish in a European slot? No. So they just need to go and try and get some momentum going forward. And, you know, being out both competitions, they're going to have rest when these competitions come around. Particularly the FA Cup, of course. It was a good campaign in the League Cup. Today was disappointing for them in front of goal, but yeah, they could just concentrate on the league now.
And in total contrast, the dismal recent form of Newcastle United could be all over. We actually spotted Alan Shearer in the away end there, mate. He was there as a fan today. I think he was there with his lads supporting the team, so he's going to have a little bit of a job on his hands trying to get away from Craven Cottage in one piece. I'm no doubt the Newcastle fans will be all over him. But from them going forward, a win tonight, keeping the cup dream alive, the silverware dream alive, hopefully has an adverse effect as well, or a good effect, should I say, on their league form.
Yeah, of course. Look, they're not doing particularly well in the league, but only away from home. Like, I think his one win away from home, Sheffield United, the 8-0. Since then, they've not won away from home. Second from bottom in the league table with their away form. Their home form, they're not doing too badly whatsoever. But, 10th in the league, it's a little bit disappointing. But I said this, and I'll say this all along. If they can go far in this competition and somehow pick up the trophy, something that Alan Shearer couldn't quite manage as well, along with many, many other legends at the football club, it will be unbelievable. They won't care about the league campaign. They'll just want to go far in this competition and see if they can pick up a trophy.
Gents, thank you very much. Darren, good luck getting out of there, mate. Obviously, if they spot you, you're going to get roped into going to a boozer or something like that, mate. No doubt about it. Listen, well done, pal. Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you very much, Darren. Super stuff from Craven Cottage. It finished Fulham 0, Newcastle 2. Newcastle bouncing on into the 5th round. Little reminder regarding the football coming up tomorrow.